It's been the same for a while, yeah,
Looks
for
clean,
about
man.
3 4 years now.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, thanks, man.
you
It's
know,
it's just a template.
what's up? It look whatever it is, it looks great.
It's just a template. I mean, I do take care of, you know, I do take
Um,
care of it, but it's not. I'm not like I don't know what I'm doing really.
do you guys ship your beer, just the merch?
We can't ship beer. We can only do merch
How come
shipping.
it's just a
I
state
mean, we
thing?
could do the trades. Yeah, we could do trades and all that, but it's not like we can sell somebody
Right.
case over the website or something. It would be illegal.
But how come? So I was looking at Great Notions website the other night, and you can pick up their beer from like all the West Coast states. They ship to the West Coast. Is it just still a state thing, or they get to a point where
Right.
it's big enough where they're pushing enough where it
It's
is worth it for them to take custom orders on from their website?
Yeah, some states allow it actually, but I believe the way it works is you can only ship inside the state.
Okay.
That's what I think it is. I'm not completely sure about that, but
It's
I sound
alcohol
good,
is
by
a
the way.
state thing. What's up?
Do I sound good?
I think we sound good. I don't think anyone's complaining yet. What's up, Bruce? What's up,
Okay.
everyone? What's up, Blackwood Brews? Brewing bad here on a Wednesday with the Jorge Castro, my buddy down there on the island. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about a lot of things, but every other time I talk to him, there's some crazy weather, some hurricane going on. We're going to get into that here in a second. Big shout out to everybody who was on the stream a couple weeks ago with the Brew Show. I don't know if you guys were watching that, but my power supply unit on my PC flared out. So
Really,
yeah,
I saw part of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
yeah. So I got it today. I bought it this shitty Corsair 750 thing, and it's kind of easy if you know what you're doing. I don't know if you've had a PC before, but there's a lot of dead weight
Oh,
wires coming out of the modular one. Any which way, I was able to get it to work. I don't know what to expect. I hope it doesn't crap out again tonight. I think it was just a bad unit or a bad lemon. I had it for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm just hoping it doesn't happen tonight. And thanks again to everybody who's here and was on the stream with the Brew Show. We had a good time. We had an upload. We put out like a ginger beer thing, and I was actually just looking at YouTube, and Trent got some shine on that, man. So good for Trent. You know, it's funny
that's
when
great.
yeah, when you get away from beer, you actually get views. You actually get a that's Kyle
Yeah,
Clawhammer's
I
old
understand.
joke, yeah. But yeah, this is Jorge Boxlab Agua Dia. Did I say that right? Western Puerto Rico.
That's correct. Yeah, that's
And the
correct.
and the link on the bio or on the thumbnail, it says established 2014. So you've been around pretty much as long as I have. We've been in this game together, you know, pretty much from the strength of the West Coast IPA.
Mhm.
A lot of people got inspired by that. And then he's got a brewery down there. So put it on your radar. There's a link in there. I should have put the socials in there. What's up, Beer Quaz? What's up, man? Say what's up, Jorge. Let me get your link in here.
Hey guys. Hey everybody. I can't see the chat yet. This is still loading my internet. So really,
So what's
it's
up
a
with
little
the
slow.
weather though? Because last week it was pretty bad, but somehow you were in the chat.
Oh, you mean the blackout thing?
Yeah.
Well, let's say it's something recurring. It happens all the time here. Of course, being and living on an island, it's I think
Expensive.
pretty complicated. And and expensive. And the power grid is one of those things that has been sort of like used as a frisbee by all the people who rule this place or have governed this place. And it's basically a monopoly that's completely broke. And it's just a long story and a really, really bad, something people could actually dig deeper into. And that particular day
Cutting
that you
in
guys
and
were
out a little
streaming
bit.
and I was on my,
Are we there? Can you hear me, Jorge? Can you guys hear
and
us?
we do have
Much love, Beer
solar in the
Quaz.
house. So I mean, we do get some full blackout. I mean,
I'm losing you, brother. Can you hear me?
yes.
Can you hear me? I think we're blacking out right now.
Quest. There you go.
It was good.
Exceedingly rare. So
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
No.
You just cut out for about a minute.
Are we back on?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they can hear you.
Yeah, I guess it's my. I shouldn't be putting on YouTube.
Does
I hope so.
Does that slow everything down?
I can't watch the chat. So anyway.
Okay, so maybe
my internet back here in the room I'm at the house is a little.
Maybe we got to keep the bandwidth for the stream, and I could just read the chat.
There's a little bit of a delay too.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, he can't look at the chat.
No, that's fine. You don't have to.
What about if you pulled it up on your phone?
No.
Still the same Wi-Fi?
Maybe I can.
I don't know if you want to get off the Wi-Fi. That might be a thing.
Same Wi-Fi, but it's not the same device. It's not the same device, so it'd probably work better. Anyway, we have power outages here all the time. That's pretty normal. And in Latin America, that's something that happens all the time. There's
why don't you leave the island? Just come to the America. Yeah, why don't you just leave at this point? I left California.
I don't want to. This is. Well, yeah, you're at California, but if you came here, you see how different this is. We have our own culture.
What up, Nathan? What's up,
way of life. It's very different here than in the States. I mean, I speak the language. But it's not like I want to live in California. It's
I know, but
actually, California is very similar to certain parts of Puerto Rico. I don't consider myself an American. I consider myself a Puerto Rican, so I want to be here. I want to live here. I want to be here with my people and speak my language all the time and all that.
That's fair.
It's not political. It's just this is my home.
I know, but a lot of times I talk to you. He owns a brewery down there. I have been in Puerto Rico, but I do know. I don't really remember like the prices, but I've gone to Hawaii. I know how expensive everything on the island life is. What were you saying earlier? You pretty much have to charge $10 a pint. Everything down there's got to be $10 a pint. There's no.
We don't charge $10.
You kind of.
We should charge $10 a pint for it to actually be profitable.
Yeah.
We don't.
Well,
we don't. Yeah, we don't. It's
and
around $8.
$8. And do you guys have the same tipping culture as America? Are people leaving 20, 25, 30%? Or is it a little bit more conservative than that?
No, it's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay. And how much?
Pretty much the same.
How much foot traffic do you get? Because I know you're on the west side. I know if you fly into Puerto Rico, I think the main hub is San Juan. That's
yes. Yeah. Foot traffic is not the location where we're at. It's actually you have to. It's on a main road. It's very near the airport, but you actually have to drive there. You cannot walk there from like town or something.
Okay.
So you have to actually be in the area and want to. What do you mean in terms of like the whole area? I don't know. I haven't been to Knoxville, but it's a very small town. It's just Puerto Rico is. Maybe you saw this when you were here, but Puerto Rico, you need a car to get anywhere.
Yeah,
there's not really like reliable.
That's a big difference. Knoxville is very condensed. One thing I love about Knoxville is I could walk anywhere. I was in Nashville last weekend with friends. We walked everywhere. I think Kyle picked us up one time, but I remember. We stayed in San Juan, pretty much where like the Ritz-Carlton is and all the casinos, because we didn't want to. We just wanted to drink, and we didn't want to drive around, and we were too young to get into bars. I don't know how we were drinking because I was a freshman in college. My girlfriend was a senior in high school.
Yeah, it's 18 here.
It is 18. Okay, maybe that. Okay, so. Okay. And they don't really press for ID, kind of like they do in America. It's a big deal in America to serve to a minor now. It's not like it was in the movies and the Roadhouse era where every 15-year-old girl has a fake ID. Like we actually bust people at Zool because they'll get a beer from their mom and then they'll take because the Zool's beers, their fruited sours are very vibrant, and then what they'll do is they'll take a picture of them and put it on social media and they'll tell on themselves. So to us, we have to freak out. But like, I really don't think that they're
Um,
drinking it. I think they're all just doing it to get some shine on social media. But as far as busting minors,
right.
like it's pretty. It's not even like how it was in the 90s. Like all me and all my friends had fake IDs. I think that day is over. I definitely think that day is over because I don't think Gen Z drinks the way we do unless you live in like a college town and then they're going to college dive bars, and I think no one gives a shit at that point. That's probably where the money's at.
I have, yeah, I have I Bart Watson from
What up, Mike
I
Watson?
think he's the president of the Brewers Association, and he recently sent a link to an art. Is it an article? I think it's a paper actually that somebody wrote about Gen Z's drinking habits and how they're the whole thing about Gen Z is not drinking. There you go. Gen Z is not drinking. It's true and it's false. I mean,
It is
they're
true
actually
and it's
looking for other
false.
types of yeah, they're looking for other types of experiences, but they allocate the same percentage of what they make into beer. They're just more broke. They just don't have the age. I mean, my daughter is 13 years old and she's still kind of drinks, so she's still part of that demographic, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't really tell right now because they're still at an age where they haven't finished college. So, I mean, the older ones are like 26, 27, so they might not be in a place, especially now where the economy is the way it is and everything's so uncertain, that they're not in a place where they can actually allocate that much money towards drinking alcohol. They do spend sort of the same share as we do
But I'll tell
of
you
what they
this.
make.
I'll tell you this. The cream rises to the crop as well. Like from where I lived in Carlsbad Village, which is a beach town in San Diego, a very expensive town, versus Knoxville, the drinking cultures are completely different. Let me put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 40 years old. When I was 20 or 25 in Carlsbad Village, a couple blocks from the beach, me and three friends could get a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment or a condo, and our rent would be like $2,400. So we'd have to put together like $750, and we could all live by the beach, and we could go
Yep.
out and we go to Pizza Port. Kids that age can't afford to live in Carlsbad. They're not doing that anymore. So all the nightlife, Pizza Port, Port Brewing, Swami's, they are recession proof. They've just been there for 30 years. Um, Kids
Mm-hmm.
are in that part of town in Carlsbad. They are not going out the same way that I was 15 years ago. They just cannot afford to. In Knoxville,
Right.
Tennessee, I live a couple miles from one of the biggest colleges in the world, in America. The stadium holds 105,000 people. Kids are drinking. Businesses are booming. Um, Again, there'll be like the Friday and Saturday college bars where they're going to do $30,000 a night. They don't even need to be open Sunday through Thursday. They just have the line out the door Friday and Saturday. And it's just like they forgot the memo about Gen Z not drinking. They are ripping. Yeehaw. They have a partnership with Yeehaw Brewery. A little bit different of a vibe. I think Zool, the brewery I work at, would work anywhere. I do believe that strong brands can work anywhere. Yeehaw, they're kind of geared around the college. They've got like a volunteer beer. They sell a lot of the basketball games. You take them outside of Knoxville, I don't know. I just don't know. You're
Right.
pretty much forced to buy Yeehaw beer if you go to a basketball, a baseball, or a football game. If you want to get outside of like Bud Light, other than that, there's not
Right.
like Pizza Port or Ballast Point. You have to buy Yeehaw's beer. So as far as drinking goes, where it gets more expensive in California or Seattle or Portland, it's very difficult, or New York, it's very difficult for 25-year-olds to go out and spend $9 on a beer. I understand that. College
Yes.
towns,
Yeah.
dude, we could open up a pizzeria that sells microwavable DiGiorno's, and at midnight to 3 in the morning, these kids are just line out the door. It doesn't matter how good or how bad anything is. Knoxville, the city of Knoxville is printing money Friday and Saturday nights, or whenever there's a game or a
That's
big game
cool.
on television. So I love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'm just a firm believer the cream always rises to the top. So in Carlsbad 20 years ago, there'd be like 15 places that were popping. Now there's like 3. If I brought you to my old
Really?
apartment, my old condo where I live, there's probably like 2 or 3 places, and they're making money, and
Right.
it's not. They're all selling the same things. It's like you go to a dive bar or this dive bar. Every dive bar has the same thing, right? They've got Kettle One and
Mhm.
Heineken and Budweiser. You're going to that for a specific reason, and typically what I've learned at this point, and you brought this up a couple streams ago, how pretty much craft beer all went to hospitality. It's all hospitality and branding at this point.
Exactly.
Wherever the girls go, everybody else will go. And I'm not just talking about guys.
Mhm.
I'm talking about the lesbian community, the LGBT. If you get the
And
girls
the
to
other girls too.
well, I'm saying, man, we get like foreign
Yeah.
exchange students. We're going to get the family girls. If you get the good looking girls to show up, I do not care if it's a brewery, if it's a dive bar, if it's Studio 54. That's the move. That is the move. And
Hmm.
I mentioned this in the last video. It's like, distribution and hospitality are kind of two different games. And I don't think a lot of breweries in San
Yeah.
Diego or Knoxville understand that, I brought up like how, middle-aged women, they're not going to buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack of your beer at the store, but they could have a good time here. And it's different in California because you can't get wine and you can't do this. And there's so much limitations of what you can sell out of your tasting room, especially if you're manufacturing. But in Tennessee,
Really?
yeah. So if you have more, you have more rights. You can get permits if you don't have like a forklift and a boil kettle back there. That scares the shit out of a lot of city council members or whatnot. So if you get away from the tasting room, like I know Booze Brothers, if they have like a wedding event across the street, they own all the buildings, they can do wine there now. So it's just weird. It's just all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. It's just,
That's weird.
it's like we were talking about
We
earlier.
have
Every state's got their own yes and no's.
exactly.
Yeah.
We have our system here. It's very laissez-faire. It's
Like how late can you drink at a bar in
even
Puerto Rico? Midnight, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
2 a.m.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, it used
California.
to be depending.
It used to be
But
what?
if you're in a hotel in a tourist area, you can drink all night. If you're staying at a hotel that's right next to a bar, the bar has to close at 2, and the hotel can stay open. The hotel bar can stay open all night.
Whoa. Okay, so you got a little
It's
little Vegas vibe. All right, little New Orleans
little
coming at you.
loophole in there.
Okay.
If you want to just keep drinking, you can just go to a hotel bar. It's gonna be more expensive, of course,
Okay.
and it's already expensive. So you're not gonna probably find as much choice of products there. But
Okay.
again, if you want to if what you want to do is just keep going, then you have a choice.
Sometimes you
But
just
it's
want to
like
keep going, man.
it's regulated. Yeah, alcohol is it's regulated, but sort of like to a point. It's like very selective because it's very contradictory way because there's a lot of clandestine distilling here. It's not as popular as it used to be. It's more now for like a
Wow.
holiday thing. In the holidays, a lot of people come down, like, oh, I went to visit my uncle in the mountains of, I don't know, Naranjito in the center of the island, and he had this, bottle of, whatever home distill thing. And that used to be more cracked down upon, but it's not anymore. And even sometimes you might be in an eatery or a restaurant or like in like a smaller town and all that, and maybe the owner is gonna come up, from the back with this mystery bottle and it's gonna pour everybody, and that's gonna be sort of like a thing, and that's not like the cops are not gonna be in your case for that. It's like it's fine. It doesn't matter. So it is regulated. They crack down upon certain closing times in certain parts of the island. Like if we stay at our tap room, if we were to stay open until 2 a.m., which we never do, the cops would just show up. They would just park up front and wait for you to close and everybody leave and all that. But it's not somebody might even probably get in their car with a drink in their hand, and they probably won't go after that person.
Right.
So that creates is sort of like this gray area that whereas people do not feel like they have to actually go out of their way to like break the law or be like obnoxious because they know the cop's not gonna fuck with them. And the cop is like, well, I know these guys are not really gonna be trouble because unless you're really drunk or something. But if you look all right, and we, I guess, culturally know or can tell when people are very inebriated, it's easy for them to just let it slide and go, okay. I mean, that guy just has a beer. He looks okay. Whatever. I'm not gonna get on his case. Of course, if they stop you, if you're driving on the road, you get pulled over, and the cop finds beer in your car, you will get in trouble. Okay, I'm just saying that there are certain situations that they kind of let it slide.
Do you know these
guys?
Very
corrupt, actually.
It sounds like a lot of cops turning blind. It sounds like everyone's politics. Like, so you said you need a car to get around Puerto Rico, but also, do you know these cops? Do you know everybody? Do you know all the? Is it kind of more community, or is it kind of more anonymous?
No, it's totally anonymous. Actually, it's not. I don't that I can think of right now. I don't have any friends who are cops.
Okay, I was thinking like, is it a one-horse town where hey man, just let us off? No. Our house is right down there.
No. I think it's more of a cultural thing of like, I know when I can let it slide because I can tell if you're gonna be forced, and somehow I can tell if somebody's gonna, like, I'm at the bar and I see somebody's drinking too much. I immediately can tell. I mean, this is probably due to experience because I've had a bar for 13 years, and that you develop this instinct of like this security kind of thing where you're always paying attention to everything.
Oh yeah.
So you can tell when somebody's getting fucked up, and we make the actual exercise of going to that person. So I'm not serving you anymore. The other day we had a situation where we had a guy who didn't want to pay and leave, and I was looking through the cameras. I was at home. They called me and I told him, you can just call the cops, if it gets a little too over. But the guy left, and it's just an instinct you kind of develop. So I guess we know each other very well because we live on an island isolated. So we can understand each other in a way where we can actually, those things are not harmful.
No, and you never do want the cops there. You don't want to have that reputation because once the cops show up, then you're on their radar now, right? So really quick, I got a big shout out. I got a shout out from I think it's IRC or LRC 1492. Super chat $5. He just bought me a beer. Keep up the good work. I've been watching your videos from the get-go. Much love, Braj. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Cheers from Knoxville. Cool. Yeah, man. It's good to have.
Shout out to the chat too.
Shout out to the chat too. Jorge, we're talking about permits. We're talking about difference from place to place. Can you sell wine? Can you sell liquor? Can you sell Fireball? What can you legally sell at your establishment? Legally. I know a lot of places don't want to.
Yeah. Anything that's legal, because my license is an alcoholic license. I don't have a beer or brewery license. I mean, we do have a brewery license. Of course we do. We have a TTV. We have all of that. But in Puerto Rico, if you have an alcoholic beverage license, you can sell pretty much all types of booze. And I mean, we have cocktails, we have wine, we have, all kinds of beer, hard seltzer. You can sell anything. And
I think I'm gonna
it's not a problem.
It's Northwest Small Batch. What's up, Raj? Yeah, see that's where
I've actually been brewing hard seltzer.
What's up?
I've actually been brewing some seltzers lately.
Hey, I'm gonna grab a seltzer.
They've been doing good, it's crazy.
Well, good, and I'm glad that you get the free will to have all that stuff. In California, it's like like a certain amount of grandfathered in liquor license. You can't just get them, and there's a certain amount per city, and I think they go from anywhere. It's like a highest bidder thing. It could be $100,000 or $250,000, which is insane. And then in Oregon or in Knoxville, it's completely different. And a lot of breweries get liquor and it's not good. It just disrupts everything. I think the way you want to go, like if you're successful as a brewery, I think you want to go like the craft cocktail route, if anything, like a $15 drink. I don't think you want to be like the Red Bull and vodka place, because that's going to turn into Highwire tried to do that. And it just got to like, hey, let me get a shot. And it's like, I don't know. This place is kind of geared towards more bringing in families and stuff like that. And it's just weird now. Yeah. Everything got weird. everything really got weird, you
Yeah,
know.
what
Well,
in
I
Puerto Rico, as we talked the first time, I think the first time we spoke, I don't know if you remember, but we talked about Puerto Rico being more of like a rum culture place
we always talked about
because
that.
rum is
Yeah.
right.
I went to the Bacardi
So
factory.
we have
I
to.
did the
What's
tour.
that?
I bought the T-shirt.
You went to like,
The little fruit bat
did
Bacardi.
you?
I went on it. It's Jaws my
Yeah,
witness.
next time you come down, I'll take you to the real one, the barrilito. We'll talk about that
I
offline.
did
But
go to the real one.
uh,
I've got footage of it.
barrilito.
I went to a Bacardi, legitimate Bacardi factory with a tour,
Yeah,
like a real tour, like a Jurassic Park tour. They
yeah,
walk you to like 5 different places. They show you the barrels. They talk about the bat. Sometimes you're inside, sometimes you're outside. I definitely did the
yeah.
Bacardi tour.
I know what that is. Yeah, but that's now when you went, which is I think quite a while ago, a few years.
Shit,
It
man.
was better than it
21
is
years
now.
ago.
Now it's a
Oh,
total
yeah.
tourist trap. It's a tourist trap now. It's ridiculous. The Barrilito, which is another distillery in Bayamon, right about 15 minutes from where Bacardi is. Yeah, when you come down, we'll go there because that's like the oldest distillery here and like the real craft distillery and all that shit. So yeah, but we in terms of like what we sell,
The
we have to
gringos,
have.
it's all Bacardi. And then like the people that know, they don't go to Bacardi. I don't want you to
I
blow your
guess
collabs
it's
with
pretty much
Bacardi,
everyone
man.
because
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
no, it's
I'm totally
actually
kidding.
cool. I think it's cool. I think I know,
I'm just
but I
kidding.
think it's cool to go and see it. You know, I always tell people to go to Medalla if you can get a tour at Medalla, which is the big the big lager brewery here.
Okay.
Cervecera de Puerto Rico. So it's down in Mayagüez. It's a long way from San Juan, but anyway, we kind of have to have a little bit of everything because we do get that uncle that comes in. I don't drink beer. I like whiskey or something. I like bourbon, or
Sure.
you know, we do have that, but it doesn't. Since all we advertise is our beer,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some cocktails that include beer. What we get mostly is like people asking for that. You know, people are not really coming in for like a rum and coke. They do. We can sell one or two, you know, but it's not like it's a big deal for us.
No, I mean you're such.
We do have the license.
You're in such a when in Rome place, you know. Like I don't know a lot of people in California or Knoxville that drink rum, you know. But like, if you're in Italy, like you have to sell limoncello. You have to have it. I mean, people come to the Caribbean, they see the movies, they, you know, what's the dude?
Captain Ron.
What's the guy's name? Johnny Depp. You know, the rum. When you're down there, you have to get the rum thing. When I'm in New Orleans, I've got to get the rum, the daiquiri. I understand that, you know. I don't, but other than like, you know, and big shout out to Bacardi. I'm sure Bacardi is in every establishment on planet Earth, and that's super rad that they come to.
It is
that they're from.
They're not Puerto Rican though. They're Cuban.
They are.
Well,
isn't it called Puerto Rican rum?
I guess. Yeah, because it started in Puerto Rico, but it's they're Cuban. So I guess I guess Puerto Rican rum. They do put it in the bottle.
Why wouldn't they say Cuban? Does Cuban have a bad rap? It's
like I mean, it's legit. It's not like
communist country. I don't know.
No, because I mean, again,
Houston.
I don't want to get political. Houston fled.
Let's get political.
Get out of Cuba.
No one cares about. Okay, sorry. Maybe somebody in here cares about Cuba. But what happened? Okay, what's the problem? We're cut out again.
I care about Cuba. Did I cut out?
We did. Yeah. So we don't want to get political because we just don't want to get political. I know.
No, what I was saying is,
speaking of political,
it doesn't really. No. I mean, we can. It's just that I don't want the conversation to turn into that. But the whole thing with Cuban exile, it's very complicated, and it's like they don't really want to associate a lot. I mean, I can't speak for them. I can speak for Cubans, and there's people. If there's somebody in the chat who's Cuban, I apologize. I don't want to speak for you. But what I see is that they don't, when they leave Cuba, because it's a communist country, they don't want to kind of be associated with it. I understand that. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Maybe that played a part into Bacardi being actually Puerto Rican rum. Maybe not. I don't know. But it kind of looks like it because there's a lot of Cuban families here. One of my best friends' family comes from Cuba. You know, so and they lived here for generations now. So
yeah, my buddy.
Yeah, we can just sell whatever we want, man.
Well, love to hear it, man. I think it should be free will. I just don't know why. It's just so weird, from one line to the other. But I don't know. At a time when like we're supposed to be in a recession, Gen Z's not drinking anymore. Why would we make it more difficult for these entrepreneurs and these brands and this and that? Because, and also like, where does this money go? Where does this, like, if you want a liquor license in California, if you get a DUI in California, like, where does like this 10,000 or this, like, where does this money go for all these licenses? It's like $100 in Tennessee, $100,000 to get a liquor license in California. Where does that go? It's just wild. Yeah, it's just.
I don't even have to pay. I pay a fraction of that. It's like
a few $100 a year.
It's just the rules. A few $100 a year. It's not a big deal here.
Yeah,
but that's why people.
Why would you?
That's why there's so many bars here. Low barrier to entry, right?
You got casinos down there too.
Yeah, many casinos everywhere. Gas station right next to my house is a little casino inside where you can actually sit there and play your little dollars into the machine that will never let you win. But people just hang out there all day drinking beer.
Yeah,
inside the gas station.
Well, it's wild.
Puerto Rico is weird, man.
And they'll
go crazy.
Yeah, but that's like Vegas. You'll get, one guy that goes in there and he'll blow his whole paycheck. I remember talking to my buddy Trevor from South O, who's actually in the South right now. I want to give him a big shout out. He was just at a giant beer fest in Nashville, Tennessee. South O, they're a little bit smaller, but some of the big dogs were there. Like I said, the Cream Rises.
Trevor's place.
Yeah, but Schilling and Zool and Tripping Animals and North Park and Great Notion and some of my favorite beer brands were all there. So it was cool to see Trevor there. But he used to work in Las Vegas, and he would be like, yeah, man, like, why would you put like one little jackpot thing right there, one little coin thing? He's like, well, some guy's going to come in and he's going to be a degenerate. He's going to blow his entire paycheck here, and it's going to be worth it to be there. And it's like,
he's going to drink beers.
Hey, free will, as bad as that sounds, as much as that scares me, man, free will. If they have the permit to do it, this guy's over 18, he's got the money, live your life, man. That's kind of how I live.
Nothing wrong with it, really.
There's nothing wrong with it as long as he's not my, friend or family member, out of sight, out of mind. But, I do remember the gambling in Puerto Rico, and I would love to come back. I want to grab another beer here in a second though, but I want to know, like, I know that it's very popular to drink rum down there. When I come back from grabbing a beer, what are they drinking down there? Is it like America where it's all lagers, fruited sours, and hazies? Hold that thought. Don't touch that dial because I want to know what's going
on. I'll hold down the chat, as you say. I'm gonna go and scroll back a little bit. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I can't see it in real time. I mean, I do have my phone in, but it's like probably a minute behind or something. Yeah, it's crazy. I can't even see this live. Okay. Yeah, somebody was talking about Cuban Cohibas. Those are, I mean, I don't know a lot about cigars, but I know that Cohiba is not
we're
like
so back.
We're doing great loading. Brand. I mean, they're good. But can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna get drunk tonight.
Oh no!
Well, I know you don't drink the way that I do, so I just got to carry us. But
sorry, man. That's kind of like a bum.
Don't be sorry. Be silly. You're smoking the Swedish Chiba over there. But like, what's going on? Sir. Are the West Coast IPAs still super popular? Stouts popular?
They never really have been. Puerto Rico really likes its fruit, so fruited sours, but not like pastry fruited sours or whatever. Is people just like, see-through, clear,
hard
sour, Berliner Weiss kind of style with nice and acid, with fruit. That people love fruited drinks here, so that's why cocktails are so important to the culture here. So we sell if you ask people are drinking here, they're drinking West Coast IPA still forever. They're drinking fruited sours that are not hazy or pastry or whatever. They're just fruited sours. And they're drinking lager, but apart from the macro stuff, people usually like sort of like more in the Pilsner style. So a little more hoppy, a little more. I'm not saying super hoppy, but it's favored that style, at least in our place and the places, most of my friends' breweries also sell a lot of like clear, dry, easy drinking sours, lagers, and the IPAs are usually West Coast because we love the West Coast style. It's just I think it goes great with especially us here on this side of the island where there's a lot of surfing. There's a lot of beach culture. We live in the coast. Our brewery is very near the coast. My friend's brewery is literally in the right in front of the ocean, right in my same town. It's just, a friend of mine's got a tap room there.
Nice.
There's many other bars that are just beachfront. So it's like it's West Coast IPA has always been very popular here, and it still is. And we do make some hazy beer. It's mostly the
That
beer
was my
geeks
next
that come in for
question.
them. Yeah,
Well,
it's mostly
hazies are a
the
lot
beer
more
geeks that
popular in
come
West
in.
Coast out here.
And you're in Knoxville, yeah, I suppose. Especially in the East Coast, we I went to New York last year,
I think it's everywhere
and
in
we went to
America.
yeah, all that East Coast, Northeast, it's just hazy IPA, and they have like, a place would have 17 beers on draft and 14 would be hazies, and
Yeah.
there's a lager, a sour, and a very very heavy stout. That was it,
I'll take it one step further.
and I understand.
If you see a bar and you see that they have, how bars have the logos, the neon light signs, I'll see Sierra Nevada and I'll go in there because I want to get a pale ale. It's not going to be a torpedo, but they don't have the pale
Right.
ale more often than not. It's the little something hazy. And that is the South. That is
Oh,
California. I mean, I think that's the number one
yeah.
selling beer, craft beer, for 2024. So that makes sense. But, no, like wherever I am in America, people are significantly drinking more hazies than West Coast IPAs. So I love to hear it.
Even in California,
Oh, for sure. Oh, there's no doubt about it.
really.
100%. I think they're easier to
I haven't been
drink.
to California in a long time. So.
We need to go, but I do want to send you some beer because the way that they're making these sours now, it's a lot different than we did. 10 years ago or 5 years ago, we would brew something with 2 row and then bring the pH down to 3.5 with lactobacillus. The thing about sours though, and I want to make a video on this, I did have a traditional sour the other night, and it was good. But if I'm not looking at the can, it could be peach or mango or whatever it is, the raspberry can. If I just pour it into a glass, sometimes the sour is so sour, it just knocks out all the flavoring. It just knocks everything out.
Yep.
So what they're doing now is they're called fruited sours. I think the majority of people are doing it with, they're stabilizing it with, what am I trying to say? What's PMB? How
You
do
mean
you?
the yeast, the Philly sour?
No, it's how do you stop yeast from eating sugar? Potassium
How do I
metabisulfate.
stop
Yeah,
these?
the PMB,
Yeah, metabisulfate. Yeah, it
metabisulfate,
could
and
be.
sorbate. And then what they're doing is they're just like going after like these Gatorade colors, like Gatorade green, Starburst, this and that, and it sells.
Tripping animals.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a good story. And I talked to brewery guys that are struggling and stuff, and they're like, well, everything kind of came and went, and this happened. I'm like, I don't believe in that at all. I believe in that every single brand is completely different from the next. I think when you're like, well, everything kind of came and went, you're kind of down and out, and this and I don't know. But what I do know is that have you heard of a brand called Creature Comforts? Creature
I
Comforts.
have, yes.
Okay, so
I think they're from Georgia.
they are from Georgia. Okay, so we're on the same page. Moving into California with a beer brand or any brand is a very scary move. And I get into arguments with people from California all the time. They're like, well, if our brewery was outside of California, we'd be killing it. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You'd be the exact same. You would be every brand that's good is good anywhere with beer. I firmly, like if you have a super strong brand, Burial, Zool, Other Half. You're trying to tell me if Other Half moved into downtown San Diego, they would struggle? No, they wouldn't. They'd be one of the top breweries in San Diego. And people can argue that or not argue that. But here's what I can tell you. Creature Comforts moved to Los Angeles. The guy that I go to Europe with, one of my best friends, Dan, I look up to him. He's a reliable source. He's not a shithead like me. He was there 2 Saturdays ago, and he said the place was packed. And it wasn't his scene. Other than he said there was a ton of girls there, but there was like a DJ and shit, which is kind of weird, right? Because they're from the South and they're just kind of playing the part. And I said, what were they drinking?
Yeah.
They weren't drinking beer. He's like, no, they were all drinking this bright neon green watermelon sour. And the homebrewers were thinking sour like 3.4 pH. No. They're drinking like
Juice.
yes, like melted Slurpee. But if you have a strong brand, like branding is everything, people have psychology. People have peace of mind. It's good, you know. And I did go to a baseball game a week ago. There's a new stadium in Knoxville. It's awesome. It's the Chicago Cubs AA ball, but they built it like a mini Petco Park. It's phenomenal. And I ordered a Creature Comforts beer. I think it was a tropical IPA. Wasn't good. And the thing about IPAs, you got to drink them fast or they kind of get gross. Like if IPAs get a little bit warm, it's kind of painful, at least for me. And I was drinking this thing fast. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that the beer wasn't that good, Creature Comforts, and I didn't have a problem with that at all. I was like, I'd still buy a t-shirt from them. I would still buy, like the brand is bigger than the beer. Like I've been to San Diego, I've been to baseball games where I'll get a beer from a very strong brand and they'll try something new, like an Oktoberfest, and it's not good. It's really not good. Or maybe their IPA just tastes like aluminum or metallic. It's just not good. But I love the brand and I'm still going to stick with them for forever. But if you're a new brewery and you start out and you have a bad experience with the beer, you're going to tell everyone this is like the worst brewery ever. So branding is a big thing in alcohol. It's like t-shirts, you know, like, hey, I loved this skateboard brand. Maybe I just didn't like their new summer line. But other than that, I've been, you know, for 10 years, they've kind of been in the zone. So brand recognition is a huge thing, you know, and we did talk about like hospitality is kind of the name of the game these days. You have to have food, you got to have the bathrooms, you got to get girls in there. But there are some people in America or around the world, and I didn't know about this till I came out to Knoxville. They are obsessed with some of these beer brands. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm saying it has nothing to do with the beer. I mean, I thought there was just like Treehouse and Hetty Topper. Jorge, there is like Schilling and Dancing Gnome and North Park. And it was like, there are brands that are selling.
450 North or whatever.
What's up?
450 North. I think it's one of those that people just drop.
450 North.
To get their beers.
What I'm saying is that if they shut down or if there was another COVID, there's some brands that are doing $2,000 or $3,000 a day just in merch, you know, and I love it. It's crazy to think, right? Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
It is great. And
that's awesome.
And I'm glad that we could talk about this and no one's shitting on it, you know, because I bring this up to a lot of guys. Like, Jorge, I bring this up to a lot of guys that own breweries and they're like, well, it's not going to last forever. Well, it only works because it works here. It's like, goddamn, man, there's so much narcissism in the commercial beer world that I didn't know about until you're hanging out with the guys, you know, that are doing better some other guy. And it, you know, everyone's got a little narcissism in them, you know, kind of like, well, our beer is just as good as theirs and our beer is just as good as theirs.
Well, there's also, we used to get the spiel thing. This sort of like this narrative used to be of like, well, I'm a real, so I don't make, you know, Slurpee or whatever. Dude,
that's where
I don't give a shit.
That's where you're smart.
I want to be creative.
Here's a big point.
I don't just want to do whatever I want to do. And if I want to do a triple fucking berry extra hazy juice, whatever, I'll do it with as much love as I would do a lager.
Yes.
Because I just want to be creative and do something, you know, this beverage and just have people enjoy it. I don't care if it doesn't fit the canon of traditional.
No, good.
I don't care. I really don't.
And I'm glad that stigma is over.
I want to actually break those. Yeah, I mean, mostly it is.
Oh,
there's
shut up and drink,
you will
pussy.
see in the comments.
Yeah. Yellow fizzes for pussies. I mean, that was a big thing for Stone and, you know, macho guys.
And now they make yellow fizzies.
And now they make yellow fizzies. And, you know, hey, Party Time James, what's up, man? Still got the barrages in here, man. We got beer.
Shout out to James.
Big shout out to James. Yeah. I just think that whatever you make and it works is creating jobs at the end of the day. Like if the dollar's turning over, live your life. And I get a lot of that, Jorge. I got a lot of
Mhm.
people in San Diego
That's
that
not
are,
real beer.
well, not only that, I'll take it one step further. Why is everyone acting like they invented the IPA? Like, you didn't invent the IPA. Like, it's all just monkey see, monkey do. We're just having,
Exactly.
we're fermenting stuff, or we're having fun, and some people are trying to monetize it, and that's kind of the bottom line. And some people just have better ideas and executions than others, and that's it. We're all just fermenting sugar and
Some people
alcohol.
want to just some people want to just gatekeep and like,
Yeah, and there's also a
no,
lot
this
of
you're supposed to do this, all this because I
no,
read this
no,
book and all that.
no. I read a book on water chemistry. No, and I'm gonna bring this up in a video, Jorge. 15 years
Mhm.
ago, if you found a home brewer, it was like a not even a home brewer, a brewer. Like, this guy was like a magician. This guy was like a sorcerer. This guy was like the first caveman that knew how to, cook food over fire.
Alchemist.
Now it's like, if I opened up a brewery now, I don't think I would do it with a brewer or a chef. I don't want to. I know it works, and I don't want to have to tell a guy like, I'm not using your blueberry hef recipe. Like, I think that would win awards.
Yeah.
But I also don't think brewing alcohol runs parallel with selling alcohol as it did 15 years ago. Like, 15 years ago, everybody in San Diego, if you knew how to homebrew and your parents had money and you could get a no interest loan from your family members, you were owning a brewery.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's like, I need a branding guy. I need somebody that has like corporate restaurant experience, someone that knows not to hire their friends, someone that has a good
You're
handle
a
on their,
mechanic.
like, they're not, a good handle on your drugs and alcohol and your gambling. I need you to know how to run a restaurant, because that's pretty much what successful breweries are nowadays. And as far as like a guy that's teaching classes or he's read all these books about water, I wouldn't open up a brewery with him at all anymore. I don't want to have to explain to them like, hey man, you could probably win homebrew awards. You could probably, hit the GABF guidelines better than anybody. I'm going after what sells. Like, let's not confuse this. Does that make sense? Like, hey, if you have,
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, that guy could be a liability, because if you
well,
have a brewer that doesn't want to brew what your vision is, then it could be a liability. It could be a problem
it could be a liability,
because he doesn't want to brew that.
well, and also, Maury brought up a great point to me. He said at Stone, Maury's been at Stone for a couple of years now, and he loves it. Stone had this big kind of like, whoa, they sold out, and Sapporo bought them. Maury's like, dude, morale's up. We're killing
Whatever.
it. We want to hire people that have no brewery experience, because if we bring in brewers, they want to talk back and they want to tell you like what their way of doing. It's like, yeah, I don't know. If I were to open up a brewery now, I know who I'd want. There's a couple brewers on planet Earth. And after that, I want everyone to hire in the back of that we would hire to have no experience. I don't want 10 cooks in the kitchen. This guy did some internship in Italy, or, this guy knows Belgian styles. I don't care about any of that. Win homebrew awards. Pat yourself on the back.
I never hired anybody with experience for the brewery.
I think it's smart.
I taught everybody. I've taught them that they have to do, and they just take that knowledge and they just
Well, not only
take it a
that, but
step further.
they're not talking back to you. They're not telling you they have to roll.
No.
They have to roll with your punches. They can't be like, no,
Yeah, because
I don't know.
again, exactly.
Well, kind of what
that can be a problem.
it could be a total problem. And like, I've always kind of thought that, like when kettle sours were big, and you would just see like commercial brewers. I'm sure you could probably guess what I'm talking about. It's like they'd be brewing, and then they would just dump like all this fruit into the boil. I'm like, what did that do? You just knocked it all out with like, what did that do? Like what? So like I said,
Maybe that's for the Instagram.
In my world, yeah, I'd be doing all this. That if I owned a brewery nowadays, all I would do, there'd be 4 or 5 people I would put together, and a lot of them aren't even beer people. I mean, there's guys that have owned breweries for 5, 6, 7, this and that years. Like, I don't even think I would.
You need people that are not brewery people. You need somebody.
Yes. You need girls.
The best thing you could do is to hire somebody that creates or that knows how to put on events.
Put on
That's
an
the
event.
biggest hire you can have. Yeah. An
And
event, somebody that can actually make events happen. Small and large events, from tastings to live music to art fairs and all that. We do this all the time. And we have somebody, I mean, now it's a combination of many of us that help. But we used to, I mean, up to a certain point, we had a person that actually would do that. We just do events. Because if you can get somebody that thinks outside the box, you can bring him into this situation, they can actually bring that outside the box thinking into events, and then you will bring new people in, and then people will chase your fruited sour and go, oh, beer can taste like this. Even in 2025 we
that's
still
what,
get a lot of people, because people don't really know anything about beer.
yeah.
They go, this is beer, and they're like in heaven, and they're like enjoying it, and they come
Yep.
back and they become regulars. That's the thing. That's what this is all about. It's not being a serious brewer because I can tell you what my pH pre-boil is going to be, and I'm
Yes.
gonna.
You,
That's fine. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying I'm not that person.
no, I know.
That's fine.
And
There's no
that,
problem.
and it's a tough pill to swallow, because if you got into beer 10 years ago and you're like, damn, the thing about beer, here's the thing. Back to your thing really fast. You're absolutely right. I think nowadays it's better to have like a good club promoter than it would be a brewer. Like a guy that gets
Yes.
people in is a lot more tougher job. Finding a brewer now is like finding a cook, right? I'm not knocking cooks or brewers. I'm just saying 15 years ago, it was a lot tougher to find these people. Getting a club promoter that can bring people in, much difficult job, much more difficult job. I did want to, we're on such a good topic right now because it's so different. And what I wanted to say was that if I did open up a brewery now, it would be with 4 or 5 people. And I don't think any of them would be, I'd want to get Kyle involved, Kyle from Clawhammer, but I wouldn't do the man. I wouldn't be a manager. I wouldn't be the owner. I want like a money guy that doesn't, we're not exactly friends here. We're not getting fucked up at the bar. He's just kind of this and that. All I would do was do the social media and do reels. That's all I would do. And I got this. I think I got this. Like the only, like Treehouse is pushing a YouTube video, but or a YouTube channel, and he just does the blind taste contest stuff. If I was like, hey,
That's gotten a little stale too.
what's up?
That treehouse channel has gotten a little bit stale.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as it used to be when it was showing around the equipment. All that. I'm not knocking them again. I'm not talking shit.
I gotta
I'm just
stop
saying that
talking
it,
shit.
it used to be more interesting.
Or I gotta talk more shit. Yeah, I know. Like, hey man, show off your stuff. I mean, you have a golf course, dude. And I play golf. Like,
yeah, they have a ton of shit. It's ridiculous. It's
yeah.
awesome. It's great. It's amazing that beer can actually do that.
At the end of the day, though, that dude created hospitality. Like, I say beer now. There's so many breweries that win these awards and they vamp up their sales, so they vamp up production and it doesn't roll over. Treehouse has A+ hospitality and branding. And, with or without their beer, I would go there, even if they just had like Coors Light or Modelo or something. I'd be there and I'd still be buying their t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, beer is just the catalyst. When you get there, you have the experience.
Sterling B, what's up,
the whole
dog?
thing.
Hey, we got 30 people in here. I should start promoting these a little bit better. But yeah, it's definitely weird how that shifted. Man. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that, and I probably shouldn't say this in a homebrewing thing, but sometimes, like when you go out with brewers and this and that, and especially commercial brewers, man, they're just like nitpicking. They're like lying out the door. Everyone's having a good time. And there's like, this isn't even good. This isn't even good. It's like, dude, if you brewed that, you'd be smearing this all over the internet. You would be like thinking you need to, vamp up the production and stuff. I'm telling you, man, the best people to go to brew hopping with, the best people on planet Earth is girls. If girls are having a good time, man.
People who have nothing to do with it.
People that have nothing to do with it.
People who are not from the industry.
People that have like.
They come in and they're like, whoa, this is amazing. It's like childlike,
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
And there's no like, and I think I was talking to this a couple weeks ago, man, but like you go to these beer events, man, and after hours, every brewery, I don't go to these anymore because you know how I am and I don't trust myself. I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. I'm going to hear something I really don't like, man. But all of it is just like, they're not good or they're only good because they're here. Like they're not real craft beer. I'm like, dude, guys, in a blind taste contest, it's fucking beer. Like let's just have some fun. It doesn't have to be like this insecurity thing, because that's kind of what it just kind of comes down to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's what it is, really.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Totally is. Making
because
beer and selling beer is not the same as it used to be. The best thing we do, well, you actually own a brewery, but everybody in the chat here right now, the best part about home brewing is we do not have to sell our beer. That's the best thing about it. And Jorge, close your ears, because you actually own a brewery.
And it gives you a certain freedom too to just do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want. If you fuck it up, you
really think outside the box.
Yeah, the only people that are getting pissed off is your wife. Other than that, your business partners, they don't exist. You're fine. We're living. We're chilling.
It'd be interesting to know how many people are actually home still, because I haven't seen any numbers. Like what is the home brewing scene like? Sorry.
I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think that I can hear you now. I think that the 5-gallon game, like you have a clawhammer system, I have a clawhammer system. I think that's you have it for pilot batches. For me to brew 5-gallon batches of beer, it's just tough to put a dent into a 5-gallon batch these days. I really am looking forward to doing 1 and 2. And I just kegged off 12 of like my orange creamsicle things. They were definitely overcarbonated, but it was cool. It lasted me a couple weeks. Like that was perfect, just to do 1 or 2 gallon batches. So I don't think there's a lot of people, I don't know, like people think like, well, if I'm only going to brew like a 12 pack or something, why don't I just go buy a 12 pack? When I first got into home brewing, it was like, let's ramp up to from 5 to all grain to 10 gallon. We have so much more beer. It's like, what am I supposed to do with 10 gallons of beer at this point? What the fuck am I supposed to do with 10?
Yeah, that's quite a lot of beer.
10 gallons of beer in my house? I couldn't put a dent in it. And it doesn't matter if it's the best beer in the world or the worst beer. Well, it does matter if it's the worst beer. But I can't eat leftovers. I got to mix it up daily. Like to have the same, like if I drink a 6-pack of Deschutes or something, I'm good on that for a month. I can't, I don't know.
Right.
My dad could drink Heineken every night, but that's a light beer.
Most people can drink something forever, just one thing, the same thing. But
not me. No,
I don't know. No, I know you don't. I know that's exactly. I know that. But I don't know. I just wonder if people are still interested in this shit. Like a lot of people, like it used to be. Like it used to be even 5 years ago. Because I still see like.
No,
I still see the Clawhammer videos get good. Well, but they get Clawhammer gets views and you get views and Trent's been getting views. I mean, I don't mean to say that you get
views. Brewing, what's up, Raj? I get the same views. Here's what I'm saying. If I do like a brown ale or if I do an IPA video, which I haven't done in years, but it would get the same views. No, they would get a lot more views back in the day. A lot more views back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. So like a good video, like I think my first hazy video got like maybe 50 or 60,000 views. That day is over. Mm-hmm. You have to be doing like small batch, already starting with sugar stuff to get that type of view. Like Golden Hive Mead.
Right.
Who killed it.
Yeah.
And I do believe this. I do believe that it's not brewing. It's not YouTube. It's the people. I think good people can roll over to anything. This guy that
it's what you do too.
Yeah,
if you're fermenting Mountain Dew, it's gonna get a lot of views,
Yeah, and that's kind of a thing too. Like I want to do like Butterfinger mead, or I went out with this girl the other night and we were drinking espresso martinis and she's obsessed with espresso martinis. I was like, you know what? I like espresso martinis. Like what can I do with it? Should I just make it? Espresso martini? It's like, well, maybe for a short, but like, what could we do with that? A beer?
Right.
Mead? Yeah, kind of. Espresso martini mead? That sounds good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
But if you look at Charlie.
Or seltzer.
Sure. Espresso martini hard seltzer, if you did it right, that would crush. And if you made it a little bit classy, don't give it like the Four Loko $2.99 vibe, like make it a little bit like
Right.
$8,
For minimal.
yeah, like
Yeah.
give it some upper class, kind of like, I guess, Red Bull. Red Bull was kind of expensive when it first came out. Do that. But if you look at Charlie, who's coming out to Knoxville, much love. It's all girls in the comments. It's all, I mean, it's a Starbucks crowd. It's 50-50. It's fucking Beatles mania, dude. You look at a Beatles concert, it's not guys. It's all chicks.
Yeah.
That's the ticket to life, man.
Yeah,
if you get the girls show up, you get the guys, you get the lesbians, you get the family girls, you get the LGBTQs, man.
Yeah.
You get them all, dude.
Everybody shows up. That is true.
But
that is a reality.
Yeah, but also for the homebrewers still in here, like I probably will do that espresso mead now. It doesn't matter at all what the trends are. Make what you want and have fun with it. And if you like it, you'll tell people about it, have fun with it on social media. And if you don't, that's it. There's no bottom line, or it needs to be sold out, or we got to put something else on the line, get it out of here. Like, I just want to stress that, man, like back in the day, if it was like, we made a good beer, like we need to start selling this. And I'm so glad I don't have that.
Yeah, it's the restaurant hype thing. Yeah. You cook a nice steak, and then your family is gonna say, "Oh, you should start a restaurant." And it's not. It's so different. As somebody who has run for going on 10 years now, I can tell you it's probably the worst decision you can.
I don't want to hear this.
It's probably the worst decision you can and the best decision you can make, because
opening up
people need in order a restaurant, which is like a brewery you need a restaurant with a brewery these days. You have to have food.
Yes.
Like you were saying before. So it's the best thing you can do, the worst thing you can do, because it's the best thing because you need it, and it's gonna drive up revenue for sure, especially if you do simple things. Just keep it simple. Don't try to be a Michelin star. I mean, you could try if you want to. Whatever.
No. Don't do the catch of the day stuff. Don't do.
No. Do burgers, do wings, do the
smash burgers.
Smash. If you're a brewery, smash. That's what we do. That's what we sell the most. It's a smash burger. You can double it. You can triple it if you want to. All that shit is there.
We're gonna go down to Puerto Rico and get some smash
burgers. It's hospitality with a restaurant.
Brown ale in the ferment.
I love it if you guys ever come down.
How come our chat's not working?
Shout out to Storm.
Storm
House Brewing.
He's got a brown ale going on. All right, let me clean this shit up, man. Let's clean it up a little bit. All right, we got some action in here. Let me see what's going on.
Cool. Love brown ales.
You know what I want to do? Kyle.
So if you want to run a restaurant, be prepared to be upset all the time.
Well,
sorry.
You also,
it's a chore. It's ridiculous.
Well, I remember when I wanted to open up a brewery, I was thinking like, oh man, I'm going to open up a brewery, and like all my employees are going to be so happy, and they're going to be so grateful, and they're never going to complain, and they're never going to stare at their phones, and they're never going to get drunk and drive home. It's like, dude, most employees are fucking horrible. Like most people are not good at their jobs. I'm saying people that are in this.
You get a few rotten apples.
No. What I'm saying is people that work in like the garage band brewery. Like back in the day when all these breweries were popping up in San Diego, everybody would just let their friends and their girlfriends work at these places, and like we didn't have like the best customer service. Like if I go to Applebee's or if I go to Chili's or something, like they're killing it way harder than we ever did. We were like eating food behind the bar. Looking back on that, I was like, it was such a crazy Beanie Baby phase that I truly believe, like in San Diego 10 or 12 years ago, anybody on planet Earth could have opened up a brewery. I'm a firm believer in that. Anybody, it wasn't special at all. Yeah. Like if you were just new.
Not just in San Diego, pretty much everywhere.
You think so?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I guess.
Back then, it was the craft beer boom. So you could just open something and beer would just sell. Back in those days, by 2010, 2011.
Because it was just new. It was like, wow, like they've got IPAs. We're like, yeah, man, they got IPA. IPAs.
I mean, breweries have four
Later
styles of beer on
Blackwood,
draft.
later
That was
Barrage.
it.
You know what I love about
Shout out
Knoxville,
Blackwood.
though? And my buddies came into town last week, and here's a big difference between San Diego and Knoxville. This is a huge thing. This is a huge thing for business. In San Diego, and specifically North County, where, you know, Oceanside and Carlsbad, where we all spend our money, you wait to hear about it. I don't care if it's a brewery or a restaurant or a whatever, taco place or Mexican food. It's a brand new place moving in. We're like, yeah, we've all seen it. Yeah, sure. Like, well, you know, we'll wait till the word of mouth and this and that. And then you hear about it like a month later. You're like, oh, that place is really good. You're like, okay, now I'll go. If there's a new place coming into Knoxville, we will all try it. We are all excited. We're like, wow, like
Right,
the money's
right.
coming in, you know, like, yeah. And Knoxville's way more of a community than California is. So it's like, unless it's like a Starbucks moving it, you know, unless it's like the corporate thing, then it's
Right,
kind of like,
right,
well,
right.
we're not.
If it's a local guy doing it, everybody
Yeah,
will
a little
show
bit
up.
different, but that's a big difference
Same here.
between in San Diego than in Knoxville, you know. So,
Yeah, in here it's just the same as San Diego. It's the
but
same.
so like people are
We
kind
will
of
just show up.
like people are preemptively waiting for you to fail. People are like, well, I'm not even.
Huh.
Well, I've seen it, but you know, it's another burger place, another brewery, you know, this and that, and you're like, no, this place is rad. Like there is Craft Coast and Oceanside. They're rad. South O,
I
fucking
see their
rad.
Instagram. Yeah.
North Park in San Diego, they don't need me to talk about them right now. There are breweries that are still ripping and Pizza Port. I can't even wear a Pizza Port t-shirt to Zool. People are like, well, you know, people from SoCal, that, you know, they're more educated beer drinkers. I'm like, my buddy Mike told me that. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? This is kind of excuses
What
you
do they
tell you.
mean by that, though?
Well, when your brewery's not doing so hot, you try to find excuses of why everybody else is successful because
Okay.
it makes you feel better. And I'm like, dude, if I wear my Pizza Port t-shirt, I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I got dumped by a girl. I had to move out here. I'm like, what are you doing there? Like, oh, we live in Aliso Viejo. We live in Capistrano. We're from Ocean Beach. I was like, what are you guys doing in Knoxville? Oh, we go to Asheville once a year, Burial. We love Zool. Kid goes to school here. I'm like, between Friday and Saturday at Zool and probably Burial in Asheville, there's probably 40 or 50 people that are from Southern California. So, you know,
Interesting.
Zool's only been like this for 2 years. Zool is a beast. Zool is a well-oiled machine as any In-N-Out burger.
How long has it been around?
5 years, but it wasn't like this. And I'll send you some pictures of their first year. And I'm like, whoa, that was Zool. Like, woo, looks like kind of a ghost town.
Interesting.
But I don't believe the perfect job exists. I just believe that there's really good jobs out
Right.
there. And Zool is a very good job. And you also got to keep in mind, like, Knoxville is a transplant town. You're from Puerto Rico. I was from San Diego. All me and my friends, elementary school, junior high, football, lacrosse, we all played sports our whole lives. Nobody was like a new kid in school. Knoxville, 80% of the people are here from somewhere else. They're all transplants. So we're all kind of like the new kid at school. So there's like this love I never saw before. No one's territorial. I'm not going to roll up on your, you know, area code. You know, this isn't Los Angeles or San Diego, you know, so everyone's kind of like, we're on this kind of big island together. So it's kind of like forces a lot of love. And I do want to ask you this question because I was thinking about this and everybody in the chat as well. This whole like start a brewery thing and this and that. Who is the hardest working person you've ever met in your life? I'm not like how many jobs have you had since you were 15 years old or 14? Like 30 jobs, right? I probably had 30 jobs. There's like 3 or 4 people I was like, wow.
No,
What?
probably 6 or 7. Probably 6, 7 jobs.
You've only had 6 or
whole
7
life.
jobs?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Think off the top of my head.
What up, Sergio?
What do
Cruz?
you mean?
What I'm saying is that like it's really tough to find really good jobs and really good employees. You know, most coworkers I think are fucking idiots. Yeah. Most managers, I'm like, I don't know, this guy is smarter than you, but you're his manager. You know, Zool, it wasn't like that. Zool was like, this is a very good hierarchy. This is There's like 4 people at Zool. I look at them like 2 people front of the house, 2 people back in the house. Like you get like we legitimately try to outwork each other every day. I've never had this before except for like one other construction crew. Yeah. So
Yeah, I have a great crew right now. I got 2 guys with on the brewery side. It's just
love to hear
we're
it,
having
man.
a lot of fun, and it's it's the Caribbean, so it's very hot. The brewery gets really really fucking hot during the day.
Yeah, I bet.
But we're still
You're like Florida hot.
making
Yeah.
the best of it, and
Love to
we
hear
like
it.
more, even more sometimes. But we have a lot of fun, and we really like each other. We've known each other for a while now too, all 3 of us.
Dude,
So it's like it's pretty cool.
I love to
Yeah.
hear that, man. And it is, and this might be it for me, man. I might be working at Zool, part-time bartender, YouTube bullshitter forever. Like you got to do it
That's
the
cool.
best. Well,
I would do that if I could.
yeah. Why would I start a
Does
brewery?
it? Can you actually make a living working at a tap room? Like, can you make a decent living?
In Knoxville,
Can you make
yes.
a decent?
In Knoxville, yes. In
In
California, I'd have 55 roommates. The thing about why I love Knoxville, really quick to back with what you said though, is cheese dick as this sounds, dude, morale and attitude and like work ethic and people like, hey, I have to go at it with this guy. I didn't like that. Can we pull each other aside and squash this and get back to work? And now we're even closer. That's a huge thing.
There you go.
That's a huge thing. If there's
Awesome.
someone that's going to come in and do this passive aggressive shit and then bitch on Slack or some work app or text message thing, now it's a problem, you know? So I've never worked for a company before that was like such a well-oiled machine as Zool. There was a 24-hour fitness. I worked for the corporate gym for a little bit. And then I worked for a construction company where like I was the only white guy on the crew, and these the Hispanic guys, they call themselves Louis. I called them Louis, whatever. I fucking like learned so much about life from these guys, you know. And other than that, I've worked for 6 breweries. Zool is on like another planet of like love, organization, clean bathrooms, morale, branding, leadership, this and that. And it's cool. Like I do not mind going to work at all. But back to another thing why I like Zool so much. Here's the thing about Knoxville. Knoxville can change your life if you save up $10,000. Jorge, you can buy a house. You can buy a house for 3.5%.
Really?
Yeah, I bought a house with $10,000. You can buy a house for 3.5% down. You can't do that in California. You can't do that in Seattle. I don't know why you'd want to. I love Knoxville so much. I can never live in California ever again. I've been here too long. There's too many people. I get a parking ticket for like, you know, being in a park, you know, for 5 minutes too long for $75 in California. I don't think I can get a DUI in Knoxville. Not saying that, bragging about this and that. I'm just saying, like, where does all this money in California go? Like, where does this liquor license?
Yeah, that kind of sounds
go?
like Puerto Rico.
It's just corrupt.
That's a really good question. No, I mean in the sense that you're saying that you probably won't get a DUI and that it's cheaper and it's easier, less bureaucracy. You know that. Yeah, it's Knoxville is a little more like Puerto Rico than California.
Okay,
Sure.
understood. Stubborn Hound Brewing, if you ever had the opportunity to work at Treehouse, would you take it? I would never leave Zool. I want Zool to be the last job I ever have. Like, there's a lot of beer guys. Here's what I've learned about commercial beer people. You're cool, Jorge, but a lot of guys are not cool. There's a lot of narcissism. There's this and that. I would say that 9 out of 10 guys are not doing as good as Zool. And they would come in, we'll call it something else. I don't like talking about where I work on the weekends as much. We'll call it fool.
Right here.
We'll call it cool fool. 90% of the people are going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, enjoy it while it lasts. So this isn't even beer. This isn't even beer. You know, it's just fruited sugar. We're like, where there? Yeah. 10% of the people are inspired. There's 10% of the people that are in this craft beer thing that are legitimately high tides raise all ships. And I think to be in this beer game, you have to be a good person. Because if you're not, sooner or later, people are going to, word of mouth is going to get out about this beer runner. He hires and fires. He's an alcoholic. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't
Well,
think you
either
can.
that or you're gonna hate everything so much you're not gonna want to work in the beer industry if you're just gonna be pissed off about everything, every trend or whatever. You know,
Yeah, and it's
you
also
you gotta learn to roll with the punches, if you will.
you do, but I think a lot of people got into this beer game thinking it was like the gold rush. They for sure they were,
Right.
and the guys are like, well, it's all about the beer. It's like, well, if it's all about the beer, you should have just done homebrew awards. You should have just submitted yourself to homebrew. If you're gonna raise money and get all this permits and open up establishment, you gotta make money as much as you want to
Yes,
admit that or not. But
you have to pay for everything.
here, what I'm trying to say is like Zool gets shit on a lot, and I've learned a couple things too. If the general public does not like you or anybody in here opens up a restaurant, if the general public does not like you, that's a problem. If your competition does not like you, you're in a good spot. If the people around you do not like, unless you're like a piece of shit and you're not paying your customers and you're slapping girls' asses, right? But if they're just like, hey, this isn't going to work out, you're in a very good spot. And you never know. Zool's been great for 2 years. Do I know where any brand will be in 3 years? I do not, man. But I'm pulling for I'm literally pulling for every brewery, every restaurant. We're supposed to be coming into a recession or whatnot. Why would you not
Well,
be
that
pulling
doesn't
for
mean
the dollar not
that
turning
everything
over?
will end.
What's up? And we're not,
That doesn't.
the
Well,
tariffs
I
and
mean, the
shit.
recession doesn't mean that we're close. Yeah. The tires are gonna be it's gonna be a problem. But again, we've been through worse before. We've been through hop shortages. I mean, it's gonna make it, and some people are gonna close, of course.
Yeah.
Because some people are probably dependent on cans from China, and some people are gonna probably be dependent on.
I feel
So
like
they're
we've
gonna
done
either
this.
have to pivot and raise prices.
Haven't we already done
What?
this? Haven't like the cans from China already, like the aluminum, hasn't it already been a problem before? How come I feel like there's
Well,
something going
the
on over
last
here and it's really over here? Like, hey, we're gonna talk about tariffs, but
well,
there's really.
the last problem
I'm gonna
with
make
that
out with
was
you, but I'm gonna jerk you off from behind. I always feel like whatever they're saying is like something a little bit different. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, the problem with that was a couple years up the minimum
I remember
orders for
that.
that, and that created a problem.
I remember that.
Created a big problem for many people.
That was the
that
aluminum crisis,
combined,
right?
yeah, and I think during COVID they lowered,
It's COVID.
but the tariff thing, it may be temporary also, which is something you kind of have to forecast for, because this is another thing about starting a brewery. Forecasting and actually scheduling and figuring out what you're gonna do in a year. I mean, I don't have a schedule that's to the day saying what I'm gonna be doing in
Same with me.
2026.
We should though.
But I do have one. But I do have one that says I'm gonna be doing in the next few months. And I have to forecast for that, and I have to order the ingredients for that, and I have to be on top of what is available from right now.
Right.
That would allow me to actually make that beer I want to make next July or something. So forecasting and logistics is one of the biggest parts of actually starting a brewery, especially if you're going to distribute your beer. If you're going to sell beer at your tap room and you only need to make whatever you're going to sell, well, that's different, because that it's less work overall in terms of like having to get it out there. But if you can self-distribute, or if you have a distributor or whatever, you have to have the beer out there. You're not only doing hospitality, you're doing logistics too, right? That's 2 full-time jobs right there.
We talked
and
about
then
it.
you
at the
have
beginning.
to do.
It's 2 different games: hospitality.
You
and
have to do
distribution.
promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and then you have to also do promotion for that product that you're putting out there. Because if you have, if you make 50 barrels of a brand and you canned it somewhere else, we make contract, like we talked last time. We contract out of a Newfoundland brewery in San Juan. I have to have a budget for promoting that stuff,
right?
And that has to be separate from my tap room. So now I have 2 more different things to take to actually do. I could delegate those things. I had to pay more to delegate, of course, or I can have somebody in house that I can pay a little more to to delegate those things too. So you are like taking care of so many things at the same time if you do both.
Well, and
Whereas if you only did one of,
you forgot the biggest
uh-huh,
part too. Why all the breweries that were
yes,
successful in San Diego, they grew. They weren't strategic. They over forecasted. They thought if it worked here, it'd work everywhere else. And then they would get to
it's
these
gonna go
spots
forever.
and it didn't work out the same way. Sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to cut you off, but that happened to a lot of
No,
brands.
no.
Like people bitch about what was the big one in San Diego that sold out to Maui Brewing? Modern Times.
Modern
Modern
Times.
Times. Okay, so they
Yeah.
were huge, and their whole scapegoat was like the Me Too thing. I think they were the poster child for like sexual harassment and this and that. People didn't realize that that's not what brought that brand down. That was like the last slap on the wrist. They were so overextended. You know, Stone up in Santa Rosa or Napa. Stone went up to Napa, and they bombed up there. Stone in
They bumped in
California.
Berlin also.
Yeah, but I understand that. I understand Berlin and
Yeah.
Shanghai, but like the West Coast IPA is from Northern California. It's not from Southern California. It's from Redwood. It's from
Right. Bear Republic.
Bear Republic,
Right.
Mendocino County,
Racer 5.
Lost Coast, Racer 5.
Shout out to Racer 5.
Shout
bro.
out to Racer 5. Big shout out. Anybody who
I missed that beer.
I want
miss
to
it.
buy a fucking Racer 5 t-shirt right now.
I would love to actually taste the you remember the, what is it, Hop Rod? The rye IPA they had?
Was that
Bear Republic,
Lagunitas
they had
or
a
was
red
that
rye.
I do.
No. Bear Republic.
What up,
Hop
Patrick
Rod
Sandy?
rye.
What's up,
That
bro?
was so good. That was one of the best hoppy red ales I've ever had in my life. I haven't had it in, man, those were good beers.
Those
Racer
were the
5
days,
was
man.
amazing.
Shit, man. I used to walk to the liquor stores
I wish I could
uphill
just brew
both
for style like
ways.
those.
No shoes on. Kidding me?
It's so good. I miss those days because we're like
I miss those days
really
too,
like
man.
discovering everything.
But
Yeah.
but back
when
to
we first got Stone down in the island, the Stone Brewing in the island,
Stone
first day trying to sublimely self-righteous ale. It was so good.
doing
Man.
their
It was like
what's their Vesa thing called? Vesa?
the
The
Besa
the Metallica one.
Oh,
All I'm saying, Jorge, is even
I
if
don't
you
remember.
even if you have the brand, even if you have, I don't know, this is where Budweiser works, and startups don't. Here, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a great example. Mango Cart. Have you heard of a brewery called Golden Road? They're from Los Angeles. They sold out to Budweiser, I don't know, 10 years ago.
yes.
Okay.
Have. I'm not very familiar with them, but I've heard the name.
Golden Road. And their beer that I saw in Destin, Florida, maybe a month ago. I went down to Destin, Florida with my friend Rachel. I think we're still friends. I got dumped a couple weeks ago, but I get dumped like 4 times a year. It's all good. She's not listening to this. But we went down to Destin, Florida for her spring break. She's a teacher. And I was looking, you know where the Panhandle is? It's like Pensacola, Destin, Panama City, Mobile, Alabama. And I was like, damn, dude, I saw all Mango Cart down here. This brewery couldn't have got from Los Angeles to Destin, Florida without Budweiser, you know? So like, hey, they sold out. They are retired. Budweiser won. There's people that don't care at all or know. These people in LA, they're like, oh, Golden Road sold out. People all over Florida and the South are drinking Mango Cart. They don't fucking know or care that it sold out or where it's from or this and that. And I was thinking, like, do you know how hard that would be for a brand to do that is not Budweiser to get your beer from Los Angeles to the Panhandle while like Treehouse doesn't do that. Deschutes doesn't do that. Who does that? Sierra Nevada and Stone? Who does that?
Yeah, the bigger ones.
Who's
New
coast to
Belgium?
coast? Yeah. New Belgium. Okay. For sure.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're still owned by bigger brands. New Belgium is owned by itself, so it's like everywhere.
Right.
That's like,
So,
they have these distribution channels that are huge, and
right.
small breweries are impossible. It's impossible for a small brewery to do that, even if they make the volume to get there. They probably sell out closer to their area or something.
All I'm
I don't
saying
know.
is just because it works here doesn't mean it's going to work there. And I've even gone to 2 breweries where I'm like, that's the same brand. I love that spot. Or like they were good in Ocean Beach. They opened up a place in Oceanside. Ocean Beach is South San Diego. Oceanside is North San Diego. And I'm like, dude, this place fucking sucks. Like this is nothing at all like their original tasting room. Like they couldn't.
Right.
It's not all just In-N-Out burgers that are all templates. You know, every In-N-Out burger is like this perfect cookie cutter. I think all floor plans, bathrooms are the exact same. The drive-through goes counterclockwise. That's a very difficult thing to do in real life. I mean, In-N-Out's from the future. What I'm saying is just you know, the thing with alcohol is like people are the same, but they're different, right? Like same, but difference, you know, like this might be a little bit different here, but they're still drinking alcohol. They're still drinking Pilsner, you know, like this just might hard seltzer here a little bit more than this place over here. But I don't know, man. What I do know is that whoever does the forecasting for Budweiser and that whole Mango Cart thing is a genius.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what Mango Cart is. It's got to be something geared towards girls, right? Mango Cart.
It sounds like a ready to drink cocktail. And
here we go. Yeah. They're doing the bullshit. Wheat ale, balanced wheat ale with mango. So they're playing off the Shock Top and the other one. And you know what's funny?
Right.
People come into
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. People come into bars all the time. People are fucking ridiculous. People go into a brewery like Burial or Zool and they're like, hey, like, let me just get like a Blue Moon. You're like, A, shut up, fuck you. But B, like, you still drink that stuff? And the joke is on me because they do. There's a lot of people out there that still
Exactly. Joke's on you because that company is still employing people
and I'm being the hypocrite right now, you know, like, hey, I know what's good beer and this and that. Hey, brewing. No, you like what you like. Live your life.
And they're employing breweries. They're employing brewers.
The dollars turning over. And this stewardess
with good paying jobs.
They're good paying jobs. And this stewardess or this pilot, he's got a layover, you know, or whatever. He's got 2 days in Spain and this and that. He's going to go to the bar. He doesn't give a fuck what's cool or not. He doesn't give a shit. He wants a Blue Moon with the biggest orange slice, the size of a goddamn watermelon, and he wants to jam it in his mouth, and he's going to look like the Joker. All right, I'm going to get a couple more.
He's going to be so happy.
He's not going to care. And the people that are like, oh, that's not cool. The joke's on us, man. That's what we're talking about. We got to open up breweries with people that have no clue. We got to open up a brewery with that guy. All right, I'll be right back. Jorge,
well, that's the majority of people. So yeah, go ahead.
All I'm saying is that people like what they like. It ultimately comes down to like, well, there is branding and then there's not branding, right? Like I would drink Russian River all day because I love that brand. I drink Swami's all day. And a blind taste contest with 10 other IPAs, I'd probably screw it up. But with like Mother Earth's Cali Creamin' or Zool's PBJ mixtape, that stands out like food. That is, I mean, everything's branding to an extent, but that pops. That's
you'll remember that.
You'll remember that taste. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if people can remember that Belching Beaver peanut butter stout, oh, they put peanut butter in a stout? That's crazy. I have to try it now. And then you get girls to drink it. That's not branding, right? That's kind of food. Is that what like in a blind taste contest, you would know that if I tried
about what the actually tastes like.
Yes.
So you actually have to experience it.
Yes. So
instead of just seeing the brand.
Right. So
it's a combination of both.
It's a combination of both, but I see it now. And like I said, Creature Comforts, big shout out to Creature Comforts. If there's anybody in here that's a fan, I do think that I just love that a non-California brand came into California, Los Angeles. I mean, everywhere in California is expensive unless you get away from the coast, and started killing it And I said, what to my friends that went there, I was like, what were they drinking? Ecto cooler looking, lemon lime Gatorade, vibrant color. And I was like, hey, more power. And the guys out there that are like, that's not real beer. I've read a book on water chemistry. They're going out of business. So ultimately,
and even if they don't go out of business, like this is what they want. Other people want to do. Just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You don't have to shit on it because it's not.
And also,
canon or whatever.
You don't have to shit on it. But also, like, if you were smart, why wouldn't you just do both? Right? Like, hey, like,
yeah.
Why would you just go where the money is and then just wait? I'm going to tell you the best business model of all time. I'll be right back. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take over here. All right, let's see if I can watch the chat. I see Viroqua. I see Stubborn Hound. Alias is in the house. Hey, Alias. What's up, man? I don't know if I'm up to date with this. This is probably a few minutes. I'm probably a few minutes behind. Yeah. Creature Comforts is my local brewery. That's cool, man. I think I tried one of their beers once. I'm not sure, but they have a very good reputation. And
Alias. Yeah, hear me now.
24 people.
Hear me now.
Yeah, I can.
We got some homies in. All right, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. Here's how we're gonna make $1 million. We're gonna make $1 billion.
Okay.
All right.
Tell me.
Consumer product, industry product, non-alcoholic. Well, whatever. Maybe there's more than one answer out here. What is something that is consumed that is 50-50 between guys and girls? And I'm thinking of one brand specifically, and they're everywhere.
Probably, brands. You don't mean a type of drink?
It is a type of drink. It is a type of drink.
Because my answer to that would be cocktails in general.
No. Bigger than that. Way bigger than that. A universal drink that underage people drink as much. Guys and girls.
Soda.
Way more popular. Way more classy. Way more expensive.
Way more classy, more alcoholic.
No, non-alcoholic.
Are you thinking alcohol or non-alcoholic?
No. Something that was very blue collar, wasn't supposed to be pretty, wasn't supposed to be beautiful, wasn't supposed to be expensive, but it is.
Well, beer is that.
No. And here's where my mind's going. Whenever I go into a place right now and I see a lot of people, all I do is look at the ratio. That's the first thing I look at now. How many guys and girls are in here?
Demographics.
Yeah. Maybe I'm saying the wrong hints in this and that, but what the breweries are doing now, the breweries that are successful, the majority of them, I'm speaking generalizations, they're going the Starbucks route. Have you ever watched what people ordered at Starbucks?
Coffee.
It's coffee. Coffee wasn't supposed to be expensive. It wasn't supposed to be this beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at what people are getting at Starbucks?
I have. Do you know what? My sister used to work there.
Do you know what the girls get? Do you know what the guys get?
Frappuccino, fucking coccacino, whatever the fuck.
Correct. Do you know what the guys get? Dark black coffee, tall, medium.
Yeah, just espresso.
I get coffee from Starbucks all the time. All I do is just get coffee, and all the girls there, they've got like the lid on, like the cylinder lid filled with whipped cream.
Yeah, the frappuccino thing.
Every color's like green, vibrant, mint green, this and that.
$14.
Where is beer going now? Same route.
Yeah.
Guys, so the black coffee, I interpret that as like lagers, West Coast IPAs, Pilsners, easy drinking stuff. The fruited sours, that's the girl's Starbucks. That's Creature Comforts, bro. That's Zool. That's Mortalis. That's Dissolver. That's all these beers that we have on our guest taps. Dude, it's straight sugar. And if you go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, if when these girls order, and sometimes it's guys, but mostly it's girls, dude, it's legitimately just like they're just hitting so much.
4 pumps.
Dude, 4 pumps of sugar. It is cooking. LaCroix.
Have you seen the Adroit?
All the odds. What's up, Braj?
Have you seen that brewery?
What's up?
Have you seen on Instagram? There's a brewery called Adroit Theory. and they do these pastry beers that are super thick. It's like ice cream. They're pouring like puree in their glass. It's ridiculous. It's Adroid theory, ADROID theory.
Here,
Adroid,
dude, it doesn't matter. These
and it
frappuccinos.
sells like motherfucker.
Well, not only that, people don't care that they're 500 calories. You know, Starbucks legally has to put their nutritional facts up there. People do not care. We're in America, maybe in France, it might, you know, French women don't get fat. In America, dude, cash crop.
Yeah,
And
because everybody loves sugar.
I'm telling you, everybody here, think about this. The next place you go into, look at the ratio from guys and girls. If you got close to 50-50, you're sticking around. You're cooking. Zool, Starbucks, like it's 70-30 girls. I'm looking around. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Ooh.
Like these when
That's
you're
great.
yeah. The only thing that's more than that than Starbucks, I'm telling you, man, is Beatlemania. It's Beatlemania. Go back and look at the Rolling Stones and the Beatles from 1965. There's not one guy in there. It's all girls. Just can't even hear the band. They're just screaming and throwing their underwear.
Same thing with Backstreet Boys. It's the same thing.
All girls,
Menudo.
man. You got to get girls in. And what do girls want?
Purchasing power.
What do girls want? Girls think that if the bathroom's dirty, well, then their beer's probably gross. You know, like if I see a cockroach or a mouse, I mean, every brewery's got cockroaches and mice and rats. It's a grain house. Like it's got a silo.
Yeah.
But if they see that this bathroom's dirty, guys, we just got to piss. We just got to.
Yeah.
We don't think about that.
I get what you're saying.
I'm saying if the places with the cleanest bathrooms are making the most money, the breweries with the cleanest bathrooms, the most accessible bathrooms, dude, this bathroom thing, I'm not giving up on. You know, if there's 4 bathrooms and they're all clean and they, you know, this guy's restocking, you know, it's like going into McDonald's when you're coming home, driving on a road trip, going to the bathroom. It's like there's shit everywhere and graffiti. You're like, I don't know if I'm going to finish my food, you know? Like, it's already in your head. You're like, I'm going to look at it.
Touch that door handle.
Yeah, I'm going to smell it. I'm like, look for the right bite and then maybe just fucking throw it away or something. I'm telling you, man.
No, I
cleanliness,
totally
holiness.
what you're saying.
It's true, dude. I live it. I'm by it. You know, we have to clean our bathrooms like every half hour, make sure this and that. I've gone to some bathrooms where I'm just like, some breweries, I'm like, I'm not even going to throw the idea out of like, hey, let's, you know, do a family thing here with my mom and my sister showing up. This would be their nightmare. And it's got we were in, the last time I was in San Diego, there was a brewery that shut down. This is how crazy.
Oh, no.
This is how, Ruler, Rouler. And this is another brewery I don't really mind talking shit about. But back to the whole like Gold Rush era, the Beanie Baby era. And I'm not talking shit. But like to open up a Lance Armstrong cycling themed brewery, try telling your first date that's where you want to go. You know, they already don't want to go to a brewery. Like, well, it's got this like Tour de France theme. I was like, what the fuck? I'm out of here. Yeah, delete my number. What are you talking about? Yeah. I mean, that could work maybe in like UC Davis or Portland where like, read the room. Is this a bike city?
Yeah.
Everybody here thinks if you drive a gas car, you're Hitler, you know, and everyone's
Amsterdam.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe there, but I just remember thinking like, wow, I thought this place was cool 10 years ago. And it's funny that when it is your last day, when you're shutting down, you know, the whole town comes in now. We're like, damn, we love this place. We're looking around like, Mike, when's the last time you were here? It's like, it's the first time I was here. Dave and Donnie, when's the last time you guys were here? 2016. We're like, dude, we only show love when when businesses are dying. You know, hey, we're going out of business. Cool.
That's true.
500 likes on your Instagram. Like,
I listened to this podcast called How Not to Start a Brewery. And the guy usually has, what he has is guests that have closed breweries. And every time
they can talk their shit. Dude, this is a great idea for a podcast.
Yeah. And the guy is actually very, very, very cool. And the guy, everybody that's on that show is like, oh, well, that last one, weekend, everybody showed up, and they actually thought about continuing, because we saw everybody show
Dude.
up, and then we say, well, we maybe make money.
We did a $10,000
Usually
Friday.
these
Hey, the door's open.
Let's just keep it going.
Dude,
it's not going to work like that.
Was it Tailgate that said that?
I don't remember which one.
I get confused.
Plenty of them have actually
that
have been on the show. Plenty of them have said the same thing. It's like when we put that post on Facebook, everybody was like, "Oh, but why?" It's like because you guys never show up.
Because you guys were never there. How dare you ask me that? Who's the bro? Okay, so Tailgate's out of what? Tailgate is out of Nashville.
Tailgate. I don't think I've ever heard
Tailgate's huge, and they have a YouTube channel. And the guy started.
Oh yes, I have.
They're huge.
Yeah. I know.
And and I'm going to bring this up in a video, but they do get shit on by other industry people.
Really?
And one thing I've learned is if I'm talking to, and I'll probably say this in a video, if I'm talking to an industry guy and I'm like, hey, tell me about Tailgate. Are they good? They're like, nah, they're not even good. They're not crap. Like that place sucks. I'm like, well, now I want to go there. Well, now why were you so insecure? Like, what are you so threatened by? That place, that restaurant sucks. I'm the best chef in town. Well, now I'm going to go there, you fucking idiot. Like, if they weren't doing hot, you'd be like, oh, they're cool. They're fine. They're just like a little mom and pop. But if they're killing it, they're like, yeah, like, I'm better than them. They just don't know. Yeah, it's like, well, now I'm going there, But it was funny. Who's the dude? Not Tailgate. Who am I trying to? Tanglefoot. Andy. He's got the YouTube channel.
He was on the show.
He's been on here. Yeah. Good dude. Good, great dude.
Oh, he was on that podcast I told you about.
He was on that one.
To start a brewery. He was on that. Yeah.
And you know what I love?
Very, very, very good show.
You know what I love about that dude is when breweries go out of business, they always have they've got their Instagram post, hey, this and that, and it goes viral. Bad news carries faster than good news. He came on my podcast, and he's the only guy that didn't blame everything else. Northern Pine just went out of business in San Diego, and I used to work there, 2018 or whatever.
Really?
And it was a brewery where like, maybe we'll charge customers today, maybe we won't. Like they weren't built to last. It was people that wanted to own a brewery on Instagram, but didn't really want to run a brewery, if that makes sense. They wanted to let everyone. Big problem, right? Hiring all your friends. Maybe we'll start a tab. Maybe we'll get this guy's credit card up front. Just really bad business. I'm looking back, like maybe they thought that was good. No. There's nobody at Zool that gets free beer. If I go in there on my days off, I only get 25% off, and I still go there almost every day on my day off. It's very tough to create value.
Pay for it.
What?
The company has to pay for everything.
Nothing is free. There's
they
nothing
can't just
that
give
is free.
Stuff away. They can't.
No, it might be free for you, but it wasn't free for this guy or the owner or the vendor.
But I pay for my beer and at my place. I just pay for it.
Tanglefoot. And I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
But you brought that up. You said that because I will never on planet Earth let anybody buy me a free beer from here on out. I will never do that unless it's the owner, because I know it's their money. But if it's just a bartender that's like, hey, you guys can drink for free. Well, now this is weird because I'm going to tip you $20, but the money that was supposed to go to the business is going to go to you. Now, I don't like that at my age. I really don't, because it's the same amount of money. It's just going to different people. People think like getting hooked up or getting free stuff is good. It's not good at all. If you really valued your friends, anything, their establishment, they're building you a website, you're not looking for a handout or you're a piece of shit. Maybe they throw in something or they want to share a bottle share with you. That's fine.
That's different though.
That's different. But, what I'm saying, and I probably shouldn't have talked about Northern Pine, because I love Annie and Aaron. They're good people. They didn't really want to own a brewery, but in their Instagram post, it was like, well, we couldn't get this and this didn't work out. And like, this didn't work out and our food thing. And it was a nightmare. We couldn't get this going. No one's ever been like, hey, maybe just opening up a brewery with no experience, opening up a brewery and trying to learn everything on a fly. And maybe I should have, not hired all my friends, let everyone drink for free and let that manager, date the beer tenders and slap girls. No one ever like faces the music. It's always like somebody else's fault when they go out of business on an Instagram post. Andy just told me like, and I love this about Andy, Tanglefoot. He said he never wanted to do the song and dance. He never wanted to do trivia night. He never wanted to do food. We legitimately as brewers think our beer sells itself. And that is a very big problem because
it used to.
Because it used to 15 years ago, it used to. And we had this ongoing conversation, and I fucking love this dude. He's a straight up guy. He was like, yeah, the beer is like the 5th thing people think about. I'm like, no, I think it's like the 10th thing now. I think it's really like the 10th thing. When I'm going to a brewery now, I want to know, I don't give a shit what's on draft. Unless I'm going like the breweries we talked about, like Pliny the Elder back in the, Russian River, or like Mother Earth's Cali Cream and this and that. When I go to a brewery, it's like, is it in a good part of town? Is there good parking? Is my friend working tonight? Is it not trivia? I don't want to go in for, babysitter night, this and that. And as far as the beer goes, like, I don't care at all. I just want to, like, there's something on the menu I'm going to get. So he kind of met me halfway on that. And I like that because most brewers think that whatever I brew is gold and, I like it.
Yeah. What are you here if not for the beer? Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
totally not the case. Most people are going to be there because they understand your place. There's something interesting about what you do.
Dude, I'm
if the beer is good, then that's a plus.
Bruce says beer needs to be top notch. Bruce, I couldn't agree with you any less. I don't even know what good beer means anymore.
Absolutely.
I do not know what top notch means. Does that mean all the beers have to be good? Does that mean one of them has to be good? Because there's going to be 10 to 20 things. Well,
I guess he means that beer has to be actually, well, man, I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, good beer is going to be part of it. If the beer is not good, people are not going to come. Even if they know,
Again,
there's
disagree.
Some people are not going to go, and word is going to go out, and
Well, no. You're right. No. You guys are right.
Still go there, but I what I mean to say is that it has to have at least a level of it being decent enough.
You're right. You're right, Jorge.
Because I know what you mean.
But I've had really bad beer in my life at commercial breweries. I've probably been to like 150 breweries in my life. There's probably been like 4 or 5 of those where like, this is bad beer. It's pretty rare to come across a place that has like bad beer. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty rare.
But here's my point. If a beer looks, smells, and tastes like how it's supposed to, and it's consistent, that's fine. That to me, that's a great beer. Other than that, I'm taking the whole branding thing away. How strong or weak is the brand? Other than that, who's the best brewer in the world? The best brewer to me is a guy
that's subject.
Well, to me, it's a guy that shows up every day, doesn't complain. If we want to go in that direction, he's on board. He doesn't talk back. To me, that's the best brewer. The whole like best beer, I'm telling you, man, it destroys a lot of dreams, man. People 10 years ago, I used to think like the perfect recipe existed out there. It doesn't. It does not. Mike Hammond? It's Matt Hammond, dude. Much love, Braj. Hey, dude. This guy's had some PB&J out there. Cheers, my friend. Always good to see you on the stream. Always good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you so much, man. And Jorge, we found a really bad one here. We did find a bad one. Was that the one where they put the blueberries in that? Honest to God, though, all the odds, here's what I'm saying. If we went to like a very nice club and it had really, really nice bathrooms and there was girls everywhere, I wouldn't have minded if the beer tender grabbed 4 blueberries and put them in the beer. But if you're in like a business park and you're the only ones there and you order beer and someone grabs 4 blueberries, but it's really bad now. You know what I'm saying? So like the whole psyche of the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Ambiance,
the girl that smiled at you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey,
that is human nature.
Human nature, man. The girl winks at you. All of a sudden, that's the best Heineken, the best hot dog, the best cup of coffee you've ever had in your entire life.
This is the whole package. It's about the complete package. what's going on. It's not just one thing that's keeping you there.
And the
It's like the beer is
one
good.
thing is the distribution game. There is no ambiance
Yeah,
there. You're in a liquor store looking
yeah,
at 100 different colors, crazy different old English fonts, and crazy Japanese animation logos and cool ass art. That's when it is that one thing. When it's like, hey,
yeah.
this
That's
is
very different experience though,
well, this
because
is a
you're
good
not
point.
drinking there. You're it's off premise.
That's what we've been talking about. Distribution and hospitality, breweries that aren't in distribution, they're not in the beer game. They're in the hospitality game. In
Right.
And I don't want to, bum you or anybody else out there, but there's a lot of brewers out there, and maybe even the ones I already like, that if I go to Asheville, I'm going to Burial every single time. Been there with Gnome, just got back there with Booze Brothers, Culver Mike, buddies from Nashville. If they had their liquor license pulled or whatever, and they can only do like Coors Light or whatever, Miller Lite, I would still go to Burial because I love that spot. It's got nothing.
Yeah.
It's not even the beer game at all. Like it's a little fort. I don't know if you know the story about Burial, but Wicked Weed is across the street.
I don't know the story. I've heard of the name, but
We got to go, bro. We got to go, Braj. But long story short, which means
sure.
Wicked Weed came in with money, and we like this stuff. Maybe you don't care about this, or maybe you do. Wicked Weed came in with money, deep pockets. Burial at one point was a campground, Braj. It was just a fort. It was just a couple of picnic tables for homeless people. And they created that bootstrap approach. And I love them for that. And then here's kind of another reason why I understand that businesses are going to come and go, but a lot of people kind of have a hard time facing the music. My YouTube channel, I'm not the guy. I should have been more, getting girls in here and put out more content. Asheville was underwater 6 months ago. I was at Burial a week ago. Were they ripping? No. Usually Burial's like 2 lines out the door. Everyone's got food. They've got kind of like a Ready Player One vibe. There's like a staircase here and on top, there's this and that. Was that going on? No. Were they making money? Yes. Is there 20 breweries right around Burial that are direct competition? Yes. Was the I-40 shut off? Yes. They're still fine. I don't want to hear about anyone's excuse. Excuse at this point. Nobody can just look in the mirror and be like, hey, I thought my beer was going to sell itself. And fortunately, it turns out running a beer company is a lot harder than I thought, thanks to whoever showed up. I've never seen that excuse on Instagram yet. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's my Johnson. What's up, Raj?
It's they have very, 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 very strong brand, and it's backed by what appears to be really, really good beer. I mean,
dude, it's like stouts.
It's like and it's like a pilgrimage kind of thing. It's what Stone used to be in California. People used to travel to go to Stone Brewing. I remember all these channels, Chop and Brew, and all that Chip, and all these people, Chip Walton, and all these people used to Northern Brewer, I think it was the channel. They went to Stone, and they had a whole special about being at the bistro and World Gardens or whatever they have in San Diego. It was a thing to get there. Now the people will do the same now for maybe a Treehouse or something. But and maybe Burial, because I've seen the videos, but it's more of it's going back to marketing. It's all about marketing. How do you present yourself? How do you actually take care of the things you put out on the social media about, and how do you conduct? How do you do copy? How do you do the photos precisely? Do you have somebody who's gonna take care of that? If you see the Treehouse older videos, they had this photographer on staff who would be taking pictures around the brewery all day. That was his job. All these elaborate pictures with the glass and all that. That's how you present yourself. So people are going to be attracted to that, because now everything's like, beer porn and this porn, and everything is perfectly aligned, and there's this design going into it now. Yeah. But that's what people want to see. That's what people want to see. That's what the majority of people want to see. That's the guy who was you mentioned before, who was going to the airport and drinking a Blue Moon. That's what he wants to see. He just wants to see how does
Something that
this
stood
brand
out.
present
Anything
itself.
that stood out.
Yeah,
And this is,
yeah.
again, we're going back to, it's not about beer. It's about the right people. Like what my dad brought up. I talked to my dad the other night, and I was really stoked for, again, Trevor Southo getting into Southern Grist's Beer Fest out there in Nashville. And we were talking about how craft beer, you know, my dad was a surfer growing up, so all like the Rusty, remember like Rusty and Billabong and Hang Ten and like all these
of course.
right? So all these brands that weren't making actual surfboards or wetsuits, you know, that was like O'Neill and local guys. They were all starting brands that were all where the margins were at, right? Like sandals and t-shirts and shoes and whatever, all the stuff that, you know, pretty much come from China. Surfboards at the time did not come from China.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's really hard because there's a cool factor, the same way there was in surfing or skateboarding and action sports as there is in beer. And it's very hard to maintain that for a decade. And my dad was spot on. You know, it's like if a beer brand sells out, we don't like it anymore. Or if Element or Zero or Billabong sell out and all of a sudden they're at TJ Maxx or Walmart, it's not cool anymore. And that'd be the equivalent of like Burial going to like Walmart or Target or
or selling to AB or something.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I think it's more of a different game. I think it's more kind of like hospitality. How many more tasting rooms can we open up locally as opposed to where beer was 10 or 15 years ago? It was like, hey, we're going to come out with like Society's Pupil. Remember Society's Pupil? And then we're going to sell it out. And it was a distribution thing. It wasn't. You remember Society's Pupil? Society with an E at the end?
No, I know Society with the E, but
they were huge. That was like a big San Diego. That was a beer that gave San Diego a very good name. That was probably
Green Flash that opened in Nebraska.
Come on,
do you remember that?
They just got
that's crazy.
They're contracted through. It's all contract brewing now. All those guys that were around, they either went out of business, like Lost Abbey, Green Flash. I don't even know if Modern Times brews anymore. Don't quote me on that one, but
Modern Times is now owned by Maui.
Yeah, so I know
Maui
that they
Brewing
still. Well, you know, it's funny. My buddies were in town last week. I'm from Encinitas, Carlsbad, and I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's California, but they were making a fortune off their Encinitas location that was like all vegan. They stressed like the best vegan food ever. You know what they're not doing anymore? Vegan. They're just trying to get anyone in at this point.
Really?
Yeah. The thing they, drew a pretty hard line in the sand at. They're just trying. And again,
those guys were heavily in debt, bro.
Well,
like really.
And they were also the poster child for Rat Magnet. Remember Rat Magnet?
The owner was part of it, but they weren't the original. I don't think they were I think it happened somewhere else. But she didn't work there, that lady.
No,
I don't think she
the
worked
girl
for
Rat
them.
Magnet, she's out there on the East Coast. But Big Trees Fall Hard, Modern Times was up. I think it was Hamilton's. Hamilton's was down in San Diego too. They got hit with a bunch of stuff. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anyone's side of the story. What I'm saying is that Modern Times was dragged through the mud on that. And was that before or after COVID? That was like right around 2020.
A little before, I think.
Okay, yeah, because there was all these things that just caught. That was a fucking wild time.
I believe that was 2019. Yeah.
That was right before COVID. That was right before like Kobe Bryant, George Floyd.
I think it was right before COVID.
So you get hit with Me Too, and then you get hit with COVID. I'm not laughing, but
no, I know. It's
what
very
a
serious
year.
thing, but it's
what a year.
But it's hardcore to actually survive that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Modern Times had like the monopoly on fucking tap rooms.
Hazies.
They had like 11 tap rooms. They had
I
11 tap rooms
They
or
had
something
11
like
tap
that, all
rooms
the way up to Portland.
all the way up to Portland.
That's crazy.
But what I did just see, I was just in San Diego. In January for my 40th birthday, and I went to North Park, and I did see the original Modern Times, and it's literally just like a maybe 1,000 square feet, maybe
Right.
and they've got all the labels in there. They decorate their whole interior with their labels. And I remember like I saw maybe 2 couples in there, and I remember 10 years ago, like this place was ripping.
Yeah.
So
Indoor pool and shit.
I don't remember
That's
all
some
that,
crazy shit.
and it's
No,
funny
they
because
had the few tap rooms.
yeah, man, Modern
They
Times.
had one with an indoor pool.
Did
They
they?
actually had one with an indoor pool. That's
So
why
they
I
were
mentioned it.
so they
because
were
I
killing
saw
it.
the pictures.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry. They were just killing
Not
it with.
necessarily. No. That's fine.
Well, I didn't know that
That's
they
fine.
had that many tasting rooms. I knew that they were.
They did.
Do you think they were selling their beer up in
I'm not-
Oregon and Washington?
They had a tap room in Portland, I think, or somewhere. They had a tap room there. I don't know if they were selling the beer in Washington.
God, I remember they were selling coffee
And
for
I think
$20.
they went to the. Yeah, dude. But again, they were very heavily. That's the main reason why they actually got into trouble. I mean, the Me Too thing or whatever, but that was just
Yeah.
part of it. The main reason I think they got really heavily then COVID hit, and then everybody got messed up, and that was it. Then nobody could pay their loans back and all shit. That's what was public
that was wild
about
times,
it, at least,
man.
that I remember.
That was some wild. Hey, you got one more in you, Jorge? I got one more.
Yeah, I could do maybe half.
All right.
Because I had to get up early.
I know.
And it's 11
I know.
now, so.
I got to get up early too.
But it's great talking to you, man. It's so good.
This is fun, man.
This is
well,
great.
I remember the last time you were on, I think we were talking about how like contract brewing is the way to go, like breaking everything down to the same water chemistry, the same magnesium parts per million, this and that, because I know a lot of breweries are doing the contract thing now. It's pretty much kind of going the way of whiskey. Like it's
less overhead.
Branding is everything. If it's not about hospitality and it's all about distribution, I don't want to.
I mean, if you can get the right social media mix with nice looking cans, and you can literally. There's people here who do that. There's a brewery here that does. It's all contract, and they have a really nice marketing thing going on social media. The guys who actually run it are actual brewers, and they're heavily involved in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not like posers or some businessmen or something. They're like 2 young dudes that are doing it. I mean, you could do that. That's less of a headache in terms of like overhead, because you don't have to own a place and have all these liabilities, people in there, and somebody's baby fell in the bathroom and you get sued and all that shit. So it's a way to go too.
A lot of babies at breweries these days too, man. I never saw this day coming.
Yeah.
I thought the day was going to
be... Well, we're getting older too.
I just thought the day was, and I want to know your opinion on this as well with everybody else in the chat, because I haven't bought beer from a liquor store in a long time. Or like remember 10 years ago we'd have like this gorgeous selection of this and that label looks cool, or they're from here. Oh shit, they collabed with this. I never saw it just turning into a restaurant. It's either turning into beer to me. It's either Chili's or it's a skateboard brand from the 90s. And like I said, equal. Is there some wisdom in that, or some bullshit in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's gotten.
Jorge
it's just
is
like
24.
everything else.
It is like everything
What's
else.
that?
Like somebody asked how old you are. I said you were 24. It is like everything else.
Yeah.
Like what's the average? I was gonna say what's with the average like longevity of a Mexican food restaurant. I was like, I think those are like 300 years. I don't think those go out of business, or like, I don't know, coffee or something.
They could go on forever, bro.
To be in business for 10 years is a very difficult thing. Jorge, you did it. Booze Brothers did it. Zool's on year 5. South O's on year 5. I think Treehouse Gnome is going to know that one. No, or
Oh, they're probably way over 10 years.
Treehouse?
They're probably
No.
way over that.
No.
No?
The dude, the brunch, Nate? Treehouse? I'm pretty sure he's my age. Yeah. He's a barrage too. I talk a lot of shit about his YouTube channel though. That dude's fucking brilliant. The dude kills it. Mexican Lagers number 2. It sells way more than everything except for PB&J.
It's easy. And the best thing about it is that it costs a because you're using less of everything.
You're using a lot of maize.
You're maximizing. Well, you can use corn or you can use rice. We brew with both. We have a one that's corn that has a little corn like
all right, I gotta
corn.
stop. I gotta chill out with this fucking chapstick.
Sorry,
I'm going Steve Buscemi from Billy Madison over here. For a white guy, I have giant lips. I don't. If I shave my beard, my lips stand out brutally. So
a
lot of territorial that needs a little TLC. Sorry, what happened? We're back.
A lot less beer these days.
All right, I'm on round 5.
I was just talking about the ingredients, of lager.
What I do know is that people love Mexican lagers, and I know a lot of girls like that stuff. Yes.
Everybody likes that style. That's why it's the most popular. I mean, we call it Mexican style. This is. Every country has a little light lager. Every country has some light lager, some light beer that dominates the whole market. You have Mick Ultra now in the States.
Mick Ultra is just such like a not cool. It's like a CrossFit beer. Like people, the Mick Ultra crowd. It's like if you're struggling so hard to drink a beer, just don't drink a beer, right? Like if you're gonna go run around and figure out what's the 70 calorie beer, it's like I don't think I want to hang out with you. But back to the whole Mexican lager thing. Do you do anything with your glasses, or do you is it a different glass or a bigger glass because it's lower ABV, or do you put a lime wedge in it or a lime slice?
No, we do for every beer that we make is something really high alcohol. We do 2 sizes of glassware. We do 10 ounce and 16 ounce.
Okay.
Unless it's something really high alcohol or really, really limited. If it's really, really high alcohol or really limited, we only do 10 ounce.
Can I tell you something?
So we do 10 or 16.
Can I tell you a big secret? You should do lemon slices, not wedges, like cut them up, cut the butts off, this and that. And then ask them, would you like, when they're at the POS or when they're serving, ask them, hey, would you like a lemon slice with that? There's a kind of a psychology. It's like car salesman guys. When you shake your hand, you let them be on top, like just letting them know, like, hey, would you like a lime slice with that? Sales went through the roof at a certain place I work at just by asking that. There's a million little things that add up to runs.
Interesting.
No. Yeah. And I know how it's done, and this podcast, this stream might get me fired one day, even though I'm like pretty well received at this place. One of the owners, all he does is go around nationwide and look at everyone, what they're doing. Mortalis, Schilling, Treehouse, the millions of little things that they're doing. And then he takes it back, and then we incorporate it on Monday. So and I'll talk to you a little bit more off stream if you want to do that, but I could tell you.
Sure. Yeah. For
sure. But just that little thing.
But what you're saying is something I do too. Like the first time I brewed a creamsicle fucking IPA was because of your video. Because I saw your video and I kind of took inspiration from that, and because there's some things that happen in other places that haven't been here. Like nobody has ever brewed barley wine.
Barley wine? A barley wine? You can't do a barley wine in 2025. Barley wine. You can't even do that for guys anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Oh hell yeah, I can. That's the whole thing.
It's not going to work.
That's what I mean. What I mean. Well, it worked for us because we're rum city. We're rum town. Okay. People like hard liquor.
Rum town, USA.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It probably won't make sense in New Jersey. because people like hazy IPAs and they probably just want lager. But it will make sense in Puerto Rico because people like strong drinks here, fruited drinks and all that. And the barley wine is fruity, it's caramelly, it's very strong, high
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's gonna be a crowd for it here. Even people who drink at least want a 10 ounce of it just to see how it is, what the experience is like. We brewed a 15% beer, barley wine, and it was limited. We I think we made a barrel and a half of it, and just instead of 3 barrels, which is what we usually brew, and it sold really really well. We only sold it 10 ounce. We had to sell it a little more expensive because it cost us more to make on average than any other beer. But people are here for that. People
Right.
like that. People enjoy something completely different. And when you say barley wine to somebody who doesn't know anything about craft beer, whatever, it's like, okay, so what is this like? Why is it called barley wine? That whole thing of like what you could do in the early 2000s US. There's people here who are still don't know shit about craft beer. So you can actually the whole thing about you can tell them the whole history or like tell a good story about where the style comes from and all that, and that sells more.
It does.
So
And
it's the lemon wedge idea, but in other styles.
no,
Like
and
just telling people about it works.
I agree. The word of mouth is always the best thing ever. I don't give a shit about. I know a lot of people like the 4.9s on Untapped and this and that, but Bruce brought up a good point. The
Oh.
world is not only fruited sours, hazes, and lagers. Great point. It's not. Very popular styles right
Mm-hmm.
now. I love
Yeah.
Side Project. I didn't know about Side Project until a year ago. Have you had Side
Is that
Project?
California also?
No, I think they're Missouri. I think they're
No,
St. Louis. Has anyone in here heard of Side
Missouri.
Project?
Okay.
No, you gotta know
I've
this.
heard of them. I haven't heard the. I heard the.
No, Side Project is I want their hat, like I want their T-shirt. It's one of those like super, not
Mhm.
super brands. I don't know if this. No, help me out with it. Is it a hype boy, like hype brand? Like if you're just a stout or like Schilling does lagers, no, like Schilling. Does hype mean strong brand or does it mean like crazy pastry fruited sours?
In my opinion, hype breweries or hype beers are in that hazy pastry sour, pastry stout
That's what I
area.
thought, but I think
Aside from
hype.
that, because people get hyped for that and they just talk a lot about it, and some people don't even care for the beer; they just care about the visual side and all that. I don't have a problem with any of it.
No, and I love that. But if you
It's
go
just
to,
whatever works for you.
what's a bummer though? What's a big thing? Crazy sour blends. I've only had their stouts. What up, Zach Pearson? What's up, babe, man? If you go to these beer fests, and I've only gone to a few. I did go to one in San Diego, but it sucks in California because they're $85 or whatever, and they give you like a thimble. You wait in line and you get like an ounce. In the South, you get 4 ounces. If I'm gonna wait in a line, I want to get this and that. You look at all these brands, they're not all just doing fruited sours. Like all these, the Dancing Gnomes, the Shillings, the Tripping Animals, the North Park. What did North Park? It's a lot. They'll showcase like, but also to Bruce's point, there's not a lot of red ales. There's not a lot of brown ales at these festivals
No,
anyway. It's always lagers,
no.
hazies, barrel aged. Not even a lot of
That's
West
in the States.
Coast. That's in the States. Not
Nah.
even a lot of West Coast.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird.
If you
though.
come to a festival here, you will drink all of those. You would have brown ales. You would have uh, Dunkels, and you would have the hazy IPAs also.
I
You
love
would have the
Dunkels,
extra
man.
fruited sours also. You had everything because brewers here like to brew all kinds of shit, and the people
Let's bring
who
this
drink
Dunkel
in Puerto
back,
Rico
man.
like to. Yeah, I love
I
Dunkels.
love
I love
Dunkels,
the
man.
Dunkel Weissens and those dark lagers, brown lagers, all those crazy old German styles are amazing.
And they are, and it's
Like a
kind of
good No, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
it's fine, but it's even if they're like bad, if they're like chocolatey and malty, they're still good. You know,
Hmm.
we've got a big beer
Yeah.
fridge at Sewell in the back. People send us beer, people ship us beer, and I'm always pulling out the West Coast, pulling out the hazies. I'm not going to name names. The last two hazies and the last two West Coast I poured out, or I poured into a glass. I took one sip. I was like, this is gross. I don't know about this. So I went for the Dunkel. I started going for the dark lagers. They hit every time. They fucking hit
Oh
every
yeah.
time.
Those get better with time too. They get better with age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean, not
sometimes
age
if
like
it's
years. I mean, a few months. You know,
yeah, but
sometimes they
sometimes
do. They,
if you when that roasted malt, I remember doing stouts back in the day, and they would start to taste acidic, almost to the point where it tasted like green peppers
astringent. Yeah.
when they sat too long. I remember those days. That would bum me
Yeah.
out. But in those days, we could drink it faster. You know, we could just crush it. I just have Maury and Trevor,
They
whoever,
wouldn't
whoever.
last.
It wouldn't last, man. It wouldn't last. Different game, man.
Hmm.
We talked about a lot of stuff tonight. I'm having a lot of fun.
That's great.
We
Yeah,
and I love
absolutely.
that you can see it. You own a brewery, but you can still see it from the outside looking in. You know, I almost went to like
Yeah, I think
blows.
living here, I think living here actually helps. Gives me the perspective of having to actually uh, having to do the same thing all the time, which is happens a lot in American breweries where they actually have to have the same styles all the time
Yeah,
because they cannot really like I just we're kegging on Friday, we're kegging a Belgian, it's like a double or
dude,
something, but it's a cherry
can't do it.
cherry double.
I hope the cherry knocks out the Belgian flavor. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah, no,
anti-Belgian.
it does actually. I know you have beef with.
Sounds like
It's
Puerto
not
Rico's a
the fin.
different world than the States, and I love that.
It totally is. The palate here is different. Like I can make a cherry Belgian style double, and I use T58. I don't know if you're familiar with T58,
Is the palate
the
different, or are you guys
fermenters.
just 10 years behind? Because West Coast and Belgians were a thing 10 years ago.
You could say that it's just that the trends have, because, like I said at the beginning,
Me and Bruce are going
people
to
here like very specific things,
understood.
and it doesn't really matter if we have any because people can travel for that.
Right.
Puerto Rico is more like a tropical, like the. That's why the West Coast IPA is so beloved here because the bitterness and
I
you're
love to hear it, man.
surfing
I love to
in
hear it.
Isabela and you come out of the ocean and you don't want juice, you don't want a juicy IPA, you want a bitter, dry
With a shot of
West
rum,
Coast style IPA,
with a
and with
Bacardi,
a shot of rum on the
with a
side if you can handle it.
With a Cuba Libre and a mojito.
Oh hell yeah, that's my jam, bro. Cuba Libre. That's what I do. That's my drink from my youth. That's what we used to drink when we were 15, and
Coke and dark rum.
stealing
Yes.
Coke and dark rum.
Coke and
Well,
dark rum.
Coke and crystal rum, which is what we used to drink. We used to drink the clear stuff
We
because
love
we
to
were
hear
cheap.
it.
We were broke.
We love to hear
Yeah,
it.
that's what we.
And
Yeah.
Jorge, we are like, can you see the chat?
I can see it on my phone. Yeah.
But
Let's see.
like people in the chat, a little bit of like, we're talking about red ales and this guy likes it or they don't like it. It's like 15 years ago, I would have a brewery with a red ale on. Nowadays, like I would never have a red ale on. Maybe in Puerto Rico, it's a little bit different, but like you're
Oh,
making.
I just kegged the red lager,
No, I feel like shit.
and people
All right.
love
I
it.
would totally do they? Okay. So I think you
Yeah.
guys are about
Oh,
10 years
dude.
behind without.
Well, you could say we're 10 years
I'm not,
behind, or
I
you
know.
could
And I
say we're
sound,
just a different. I know you don't mean anything. I know you don't mean. I'm not gonna
no. I just think
about
that
that.
when Belgians and West Coast IPAs and red ales and malty stuff were through the roof, that was like 2015. I love you, man.
Well, they're not the most popular beers we have. The most popular beer I have right now is a West Coast IPA. I mean, we make one of those every week. So we have different West Coast IPAs. And if you come to the island, then you will mostly see from breweries here is like really good lagers and
I want to come
IPAs.
to Puerto Rico, Jorge.
Yeah, dude, you should. I mean, if you ever do, please let me know with enough time so I can actually be available
Okay, we're gonna.
because I would love to show you around the island, and you can actually see the real island instead of just San Juan, which
We
is
would
what
love
you
to. You got a
what you
killer
experience.
website. I do want to buy some merch here. I'm gonna plug the.
Gnome got a shirt, yeah.
Gnome's got a shirt.
Yeah, I have to send you. I had to send you a beer. Please
We've been talking about this
send
for
me through
years.
Instagram. Send me your. Yeah, I always said that, and I never stuck.
Talking
But
about this for years.
we just get the first batch of IPA, our flagship thing, and I want to send you that, and I want to send you. And so, just send me your address so I can fucking remember. Time
I'll
I
send it to
suck,
you right when we
and
join the club. I'm gonna
yeah,
plug my
just
my DIY city thing. I'm still trying to push something. I'm telling you guys, one day
I love that, by the way.
you watch
I
DIY
love that
City.
channel.
You watch
I
DIY?
do, yes, and I've watched it for a long time. We talked
It's
about this for
brand
years.
new. It's
Well,
brand
no, no,
new.
but I mean, with the idea about the idea,
Oh, the idea of this?
yeah, because I mean, you mentioned it before, and then it
Yeah.
came out. Actually, it came out. Yeah, I subscribe to that,
Hey,
bro.
much
Of
love. Thank
course,
you. Anybody
it's
who,
just as entertaining as the other stuff.
hey, much love, man.
Very
Thank you.
fucking entertaining.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Bruce, a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, before we have to solve this Belgian thing. I think Belgians taste like bubblegum and banana runs. Do you get that, or you see
Well,
something
you
completely
can
different?
no
Not
because
saying that's good or bad. That's just
I
what I taste.
no, no, no. I know that's fine, and that's your opinion, and that's perfectly fine, and But yeah, that yeast will give that flavor, but it depends how you use it, though. Like I just brewed that beer, the cherry Belgian thing. The cherry overtakes everything. First of all, and I use T58 and an S23, which are two different Belgian strains. T58 is very tropical, very zesty,
Okay.
kind of like orange juicy kind of thing. And that with the
Like hazies.
cherry, you're not gonna taste any of the phenomenal stuff that you do with the Belgian yeast and the wheat beer
Let
yeast.
me pull up
That
your.
wheat beer, that WBO6 never use that because unless you want a banana beer, and that's the type of ester that you're describing that you don't enjoy. So those it depends on how you use it. If you ferment it really warm, it'll give you more of those flavors and aroma. If you're fermenting a little bit colder, which is what we do around the mid 60s, it'll be just fine and balanced. And then we add the fruit on top, so that kind of masks that whole Belgian thing that gets really tiring really because that'll exhaust your palate very fast. The Belgian
I
thing that
got
you
you.
mentioned, you're totally right. You are totally right about that.
I'm
Actually,
just.
because it does. It'll fatigue your mouth immediately. Your
Well, and there
taste
was
buds.
also, I think, like me and I remember back in the 5 gallon days when I didn't even have a kegerator, when I would have to
Mhm.
bottle everything in growlers. I was like, dude, I can't do this 22-ounce thing. I'm going to buy 24 ounces. F that. I bought growlers. So I had like 5 gallons of like this Belgian Saison crazy shit. And me and my dad drank it one night. And I think I got like PTSD from drinking 5 gallons
Got
of water.
traumatized.
Yeah, hold on. I do wanna plug the merch, and I'm gonna buy some merch before I get out of here. I did break the seal though. Don't leave. Are you good to go?
No,
All right, we just
we're
got the
good. We're
homies in
good.
here right now.
I
All
can
right,
do like 10 more minutes or
all
something.
right, perfect. I got like 4 more beers
All
in me.
right, chat. Let's see. What do we got? Uh, I mean, for a box of Coiba says Beer Nation. Yeah, man. I have a friend who has the biggest cigar shop in all of Aguadilla, which is the town where we have the brewery. It's literally 2 minutes from my brewery. So if any of you ever come down, I will take you to Cigar Chalet, which is my friend's place over there. He has a big whiskey wall too, and has all this bourbon and scotch and all this stuff. Uh, yeah, Gnome Jorge is holding a keg out of the car. Yeah, there you got, brush. Yeah, let's see. Going back. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to. My phone is almost out of charge. So you need to start selling cigars, Jorge. Mail order. Yeah, those are very expensive. I mean, I guess I could. I don't know much about cigars, but yeah, if you guys ever come down, if any of you ever come down, please reach out. Our website is boxlabpr.com. Boxlabpr.com. It's our website. You can check it out and reach out. Send us a message if you are. Puerto Rico is going through a moment right now. We thanks to in part to an artist some of you might be familiar with named Bad Bunny. Nito Martinez is his actual name. He is a local boy, and he's been putting us out there. His last album was very, very, very
New rule.
successful.
Anybody that comes
Yeah,
on
what's
the
up?
stream, I'm buying their merch. And we're going to drink like 40 more of these.
You don't have to, bro. Please don't feel obligated to.
Have to?
It's all right.
I don't do anything.
I need to send you some. I need to send you some fucking beer.
Yeah.
That's on me. I have
do.
to do that. So.
Is it like $50 to ship like a large flat
Beer?
rate thing? Well,
I can send you a shirt from my shop. You don't have to.
No, bullshit. Remember I said earlier?
I can send you a shirt.
What did I say earlier?
I know.
All
I
right, so
know. I'm gonna do it anyway. But
what does unisex mean? Sex?
it means it's for girls now.
All right, so that means it's smaller?
I guess the fit is a little tighter, which I don't like. I don't like. I mean, I'm a big guy, so I don't like anything that fits a little too close.
No. All right, everybody, look at the merch. I like the
Thanks.
the mash, the boil, and the liquor tank. Or so is Mal de Ojo. Wait, don't tell me what that's. I know Spanish.
That's the evil eye. That's what it means.
I was gonna say bad eye. God damn it! You don't. So Mal is
close.
evil in this. I thought Mal was bad. Well, the same thing, right?
Mal is bad, yeah.
Evil
Mal de
eye.
ojo, evil eye. I mean, it's not a literal translation.
No, it's nothing really is. Even in English, you got to kind of know.
Yeah, Spanish is fucking complicated.
It's
man.
not. Well, same with English. You can't go word for word.
No,
I've been running a lot lately. Do I go with the?
that's good, bro.
The box. I've been running a lot. I mean, I got kind of like some coworkers into it, man. It's cool, dude.
That's great, bro.
I love Zool, dude. I really love working there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, you always, like you were talking about, dealing with the drunken customers. You know, I had a...
it's not every day.
It's not every day. But I had... You got to keep in mind, like, Zool is pretty much like an In-N-Out line. It's like a Chick-fil-A, you know? So, but they're drunk, right? So it's like, hey, like, what's your favorite? This and that. There was a customer a couple weeks ago. She's like, because we only do 5 ounces and 12 ounces. And then for our Mexican lager.
5 or 12. Interesting.
Yeah, and we charge like $9. But the dark lager and the Mexican lager, Toro Ioso, those are 20 ounces.
Ooh.
They didn't ask about the 20 ounces. This lady comes in, she's like, hey, like, so what's the difference between a 5-ounce glass and a 12-ounce glass? I just looked at her and I was like, well, one of them's 5 ounces. And then the other one is, stay with me. Put on like the doctor's vest. Yeah, and the other one's 12 ounces. Like, you know what? Everyone on planet Earth knows that a can of Coke is 12 ounces. Use that as your point of reference. You know, so there is like the customer once a week where I kind of question, you know, planet Earth's existence and the future and people. But you're really just letting me know that you've never worked an industry job. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. Mm-hmm. I think everybody needs to do 1 year construction, 1 year industry, and the world would be a way better place. I mean, construction, you're just going to save a lot of money. You're just going to save an insane amount of money throughout your life if you just work.
Right. I know what you mean.
Dude, I'm doing electricity at my house right now. I'm doing electricity at my house. I call quotes just to see like what it would cost. A guy quoted me $12,000 for my house to have it rewired. I have a crawl space where I can go down and I have an attic that I put floor up
I
there.
think I saw that on a video.
I got it in a video.
I think you put that on a video.
$12,000. You know how much fucking money
Yikes.
electricians are making right now? Are you kidding me?
Uh-huh.
12?
Which gives you a hint. Maybe you should be one.
No.
You should become an electrician.
I'm only good on my own stuff. I'm only good on my car and my own house. My house is 650 square feet. I got to get Noam out here. I want it, I want you to come out here. Actually,
Yeah, I want to go visit.
bro, I'm 40 years old. I finally just bought my first like $2,000 bedroom set. I am broke. I just bought a brand new iMac and a computer. I'm fucking broke, but it's like you can be broke in Knoxville and get away with it because if your car breaks down, you're fine. Got the computer paid off, kind of have the bed paid off, but $12,000 to get my house rewired. With electricity, I don't like the panel. Do you know about electric panels?
A little bit. I'm not.
So you can turn it all off, and you can turn it all. You can turn it all off, but you still have like.
I thought you were going more in depth.
All I'm saying is that we should be electricians, me and you. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to buy merch. God damn it! All right, so we're gonna go with. Oh, you've got way more merch. You've got a ton of merch.
Yeah, there's a shitload of stuff in there. Yeah, there's a many.
I don't do. Oh, this is women's. No, we got to go to. Where's the men's store?
Everything's pretty except the obvious. Everything is pretty much unisex. Except where it's like.
Well, I want to wear this. I want to wear this crop top. That's for men. I want to wear this in a Homebrew for Life video. I got a Golden Hive coming out. I told you that earlier. Sorry, I've got. Well, my dad was a Rain Man, and I've had like 7 of these. Hold on. You got so much unisex on here. What's Decibel?
The very first Decibel is a black IPA that we made. The logo's black metal.
Okay.
No one's gonna be into
dude.
that.
Even your 5-year anniversary says unisex.
Yeah. The first one that shows up, it says 20 viajes, 20 viajes. That's the one that Gnome got. That's got me in there.
That is you. You're on the right, dude. You look. This looks like that's a Chronic 2001 album cover, dude. Look at this.
And we're smoking weed, and
yes, you are. All right, so
it's me and my friend Albert.
Gnome, how does it fit? Is it?
You should ask Gnome. Yeah.
All right, so we've got
in the chat.
Pre-shrunk. Okay,
I hate all these options. You have to do all these options.
We gotta work on your Hey, I'm not telling you how to run your brand, your brewery, but we got to get men's on here. We got to get this unisex word out of here a lot. Do you have a couple of those? Like maybe tank tops.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
We're gonna go with Black Heather. We're gonna go buy it now. And it said the store isn't set up to receive orders yet. Contact the store directly for help. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture right now.
Okay. You gotta fire somebody now.
I'm not trying to call you out.
I gotta sort it out.
Here, I'm gonna send you. Is this embarrassing?
Nah, man.
Check it out.
I mean, we haven't really worked on that for such a long time.
All right, here's what I'm just pulling the camera over here.
It's been a long time.
See that? It says the store isn't ready to set up orders yet.
Yeah. I can see that. Let's see if I do it from here. What happens? Ooh, yeah. It happened to me too. Okay. I had to get that worked on.
Can you send me the link when it's up and running?
Yeah, dude, of course.
Por favor?
Sorry about that, bro.
Oh, it's all good.
No. Yeah, I'll ask about that tomorrow. It's very surprising. I haven't touched that part. I mean, I don't actually do that part of the website.
What if people wanted else. What if somebody wanted to buy like 10 shirts earlier, man? They couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah.
I like the hop. I like the hop eyes with the smiley face too. Hop face.
Yeah.
I want that one too. Yeah. I want both these.
Yeah, we have.
We should do it again, man. We'll do the stream next. Oh, I like this one too. The beer guy. Moldeojo, Bad Eye. Was he on
Yeah,
like a magic carpet?
that's our flagship. Huh?
He's on a.
That was funny because I was like, whoever came up with that design, and I didn't.
The eyes are kind of, I think our thing crapped out. Okay, we're still here. Well, we're coming down to the wire. What do you got, man? What's on the horizon? What are we looking for from Boxlab
Well,
in the next
we're
couple
actually
months?
just trying
Besides
to
your cherry
brew.
Belgian.
What was that?
Besides the cherry Belgian.
Well, yeah, we got that coming. I have lagers of seltzer. Very surprising that those have actually caught on. We're putting a ton of fruit in them, of course. And
You're not throwing them into the boil, right? Or are you?
no. That goes like in the bright tank, and so it's like we're doing that. We're doing a hop water.
You're doing what? Hop water? Dude,
Hop water, yeah.
are you guys dealing with that whole non-alcoholic craze? Untitled Arts is making a fortune.
A little bit. I mean, we sell some athletic, but
Athletic.
it's not like
Yeah.
something people ask. Yeah, we get athletic here in the island, but it's not something that a lot of people come in asking for. I mean, usually when somebody doesn't want to get the,
Well, I'll tell you
we
what,
make
man.
one in house.
One of them, I think it's Untitled Art. They do that mango dragon fruit sour, and it does look like an orange Gatorade. We're selling that left and right in Knoxville.
Is that non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean that. I mean, just think about that. If you want to do an alcoholic beer, try to stabilize something with like a little soda or something. It's basically the same thing. Just make it something like a soda and make it really cheap and make it everybody's gonna love it, you know.
Yeah,
So
man.
speaking about making money,
well, again, there's a lot of
you
California
don't even
sober.
have to make beer.
Do you get a lot of California sober people that come in and just get non-alcoholic and just rip their weed pen or their, I don't know what the marijuana
really.
laws are down there, but we get Delta 9, which is not like Colorado or California. You know, it's a little bit more liberal legal in the whole Mary J. Blige department.
Recreational? Is it recreational?
I'm not,
legal, or
dude.
is it medicinal.
It's like.
Is it like New York City where you can walk around smoking weed?
Yeah, I don't know what Delta 9 is. I think it's kind of like a strain that's got a loophole or something. I'm not the guy to talk to about that. I'm not the guy to really talk to about anything. But I know it's the people that want the real weed in Knoxville, they will drive up to Bristol and they'll come back. And it's like Southern Californians going to Humboldt back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, it used to be a thing here, Joe. No, we get medicinal. We still kind of a little bit looked down upon. People don't really care about it that much anymore. We don't get a lot of people coming in looking for non-alcohol.
Okay.
That's pretty much not a thing here.
Well, in 10 years, you might get it. In 10 years, it's going to be popping. I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
In 10 years, we're probably just going to be doing non-alcoholic seltzers on draft. That's going to be us, and we're going to be ripping because
Starbucks, man. It's going to be Starbucks. It's going to be whipped cream beers, man.
Starbucks, too.
Everything's high.
That's frappe beer.
Absolutely.
Frappe slushy beer, and that's it. That's where we're going. So.
Well, we're coming up on almost 3 hours, man. Anything you want to promote, or you got any collabs? You know, I was kind of sleeping on this whole
not right now. We're going to be,
cutting out. We lost you on that last part, Braj.
Oh, can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, let's see if I can look for our next festival. If anybody is gonna be coming to the island soon, I can't look it up right now. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So I have a friend who's putting on a festival on May 17th.
The chat's not showing up.
Oh shit. Okay.
Here we go.
Anyway, yeah, we're always making new beer. My brewery is called Boxlab Brewing Company. We're in the town of Aguadilla. Anybody in the chat or anybody who's listening, check out boxlabpr.com.
Here, let's plug the
Get in
Instagram.
touch. Yeah, Instagram is boxlabpr at boxlabpr. Reach out if you're coming down. I love to meet anybody who watches this video or anybody from the chat. We're at the western side of the island, so we're in a coastal town called Aguadilla. It's a surf town. It's very nice and quiet and chill. It's full of really nice people. Puerto Ricans are very nice people. So if you come down to the island, you will see that firsthand. And please reach out. We'd love to show you. And we've got the next thing is coming out. We got that cherry Belgian beer, which still doesn't have a name. But we're doing a bunch of lagers and IPAs in the next few months. And summer's coming up, which is our low season, which is the season where we get the least tourists out in the island because it's so freaking hot. It's
Look,
like
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like beer that much.
Summer. So if anybody ever comes out here, please reach out and say you heard us here in the Hobby Hour, which is our favorite show. And yeah, we love to. I love to get in touch with people. Please reach out, and if you ever taste our beer, if you ever had the chance to taste our beer, please let us know what you think. And we're always open for feedback and good conversation about beer, about the industry. I love the industry. I love always paying attention to the industry and trends and things that are going on, even if I don't partake in brewing most of those things. But I do love the industry. And I appreciate all kind of feedback and good conversations with people. And thank you for having me on again. This was a really, really big pleasure for me. I really love being here. I love the community that we have here. I feel like, I've been part of it for a long time too, myself in the chat, and with all these people that are here right now. So I really appreciate you always inviting me. And I look forward to us meeting in person sometime soon, maybe over there. Wherever it is.
I'm gonna bear hug you. I don't care if you're talking to somebody. I'm gonna come up from behind you and just pick you up. You got some fans in here. Bruce says he's gonna buy some merch right when it's up and running. David Brun.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I really appreciate. I didn't notice the website thing, and we've been working on other stuff. I've just been really busy, so I apologize.
No, it's all good. Keep us posted on that, and we'll plug it in the next Hoppy Hour. David Brun is going to make his way to Aguadilla. Beer Quest Nation wants to let you know you're a good man. And I agree with that. I've known Jorge for a long time. I remember the first time you coming on, man. We were talking about Roberto Clemente and stuff, dude. So it's good.
Shit, yeah, man. Baseball.
Yeah, he's your Roberto Clemente is my Tony Gwynn. Both of them rest in peace.
There you go.
100%. And
good man.
Good man. Let's get out of here. Jorge is definitely a dude. High ships, high tides raise all ships, this and that. And we love to see it.
Always.
And all right, guys. Shout out to anybody that's here right now. Still says we have 27 viewers, even though it says 16 on YouTube. But either which way, I had a blast tonight. Thank you to everybody for their time.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate it.
Always, Braj. It's a midnight, almost my time. I got to hit the old Dusty Trail. Let's connect in the morning because I do want to get some of this merch. So let's figure it out because I really do want to wear that Boxlab t-shirt in my video with Clawhammer. We're doing like just Applejack stuff and some other stuff, but I want to rep.
I'll get on that for sure in the morning.
I want to wear a good person's brand because that's really what it's all about.
I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Let's get out of here. Everyone have a good night.
Bye, guys.